Today on the Game Day Gauntlet, the Chicago Dragons, fresh off their win over Rochester, looks to continue to climb the east. They'll host Phoenix, but not before Rochester tries to get rid of those fourth down traumas against those same Dragons. They'll host Austin. Dallas at New Orleans as well down south. Salt Lake and Vegas, two teams blown out last week. And St. Louis takes on Miami as the Pirates continue to try to climb the vicious Great East Conference with St. Louis. Now a game and a half back. The Game Day Gauntlet starts right now. What up, everybody? I am UFL co-founder Cameron Irvine, back here with you. Here on the Game Day Gauntlet for the first time in what seems like ages, finally with the energy, the courage, the muster, the ability to come to you and do what we all love. Watch sim football. 5 games coming up finally 1 week later than anticipated, but still important all the same. In about 10 seconds, Austin and Rochester will be kicking off from rainy New York. It is storming, and it's storming bad. It's our first heavy rain game of the UFL season, so buckle up as the Pioneers host the Austin Lone Stars, and it's right now. Welcome to New York, the 2-8 Rochester Pioneers. In last place in the Great East Conference, they're taking on the Austin Lone Stars, who really have nothing to lose here today because no one in the Great West knows how to consistently win ball games this season except the Dakota Rhinos. A bizarre Great West Conference standings where only 2 of the 8 teams, including Austin, are above 500. Fowler's pumping up the crowd. And so are the Pioneer faithful. 2-8 Rochester and 6-4 Austin gets us started through the Game Day Gauntlet. Austin scores more points than any other team in the UFL, averaging 32.8 points per game. 38 offensive touchdowns, 20 field goals, 2 defensive touchdowns. As Ronnie will dump that off into the flat, but it's out of bounds. Looking outside for Mike Churchill. Speaking of Mike Churchill, Churchill leads the way in amongst all receivers, 1,102 yards and 12 touchdowns, averaging 23 yards a catch. That is only second to Miles Savage in Dallas. This, again, is our first in Week 11 heavy rain game. It'll be very interesting to see how these two teams adapt. You would think that it would favor Rochester. They're a little bit more, less high-flying offensively, I guess you could say. Although last time out, Matt Wilson threw for over 300 yards in that devastating loss to Rochester, or to Chicago. If you missed the Monday night game, Rochester was on the move. They were in Chicago territory. It was 4th down and 10 yards to go. They ran a draw, and that was the end of the game. That was how it ended, and that is not what you want. That has been reworked for the Pioneers as Shy Ronnie's going deep, and it is caught at the Rochester 22-yard line. Annie Beaverhausen, the smaller yet still mighty receiver from Austin, with the reception. Beaverhausen second in the league, 1,073 yards, and these two are a terrific 1-2 punch because of plays like that. Austin, I feel like, takes more deep shots than any team in the league. Shy Ronnie, 3,678 yards in 10 games, averaging a whopping 367 passing yards a game. Only 3 quarterbacks average over 300 yards per game, so the fact that she's almost at 400 is a ridiculous accomplishment. 31 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions for Ronnie this season. The handoff to Woodstone, his second, now up to 5 yards. So a 2nd down and 9 coming up for Austin at the 20-yard line. Peter, I don't know if you're overseas, right? I don't know if you heard the announcement in primetime last week, but international shipping is live on the shop, UFLshop.com, YOUFL shop.com. I think you were one of the others that was looking for that, seeking that. So get on there and see what you can find. As Shy Ronnie on a 3rd down and 6 will go out of the shotgun, dropping to throw. The train horn blaring here in Rochester. That pass is dropped by Nico Rightway in the end zone, and Rochester is going to get at least a half a stop on the opening drive. That looked like that was going to be an easy touchdown for Nico Rightway, who has fallen out of the top 25 in receiving yards, which is kind of surprising, but certainly is a very legitimate threat for Austin in the receiving game. This is going to be a 34-yard field goal to get the bingo players started today. Rightway 5 touchdowns, 563 yards this season. But that field goal from 34 yards is up and good. And we have our first 2 numbers off the board, 34 and 3. Double horizontal or double vertical today wins on your cards, just for the Gauntlet today. And if you have not won in the last month, you will win double. It's always good to see those 30 and 40 yarders, or 30 to 40 numbers off the board early on. Shout outs in the chat to Payne Price, Josh Zirkle, Jesse Fritz, John Fowler, Klutz Grab, Chad Rowland, Peter's in the house, many others here with us on a Sunday afternoon. Kind of a weird day, just getting the Gauntlet going. Essentially what ended up happening is everybody got a bye in the season. It was suggested to me this week on some player customizations calls that maybe we should do 4 weeks on, 1 week off, so that, we don't like reschedulings and postponements and all that stuff. It gives me anxiety. I don't know about you guys. Evan Wood with the catch for Rochester. This season's been kind of a roller coaster for the Rochester Pioneers. Matt Wilson, 14 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, but he has improved. And last week you saw that change in his throwing motion against Chicago that seemed to be helpful. Evan Wood, 3 touchdowns, 546 yards. He trails just Dejon Wright, who was picked up in the offseason. And it's turned out to be one of their top playmakers. Casey Mears, on her first carry, loses a yard as that tackle up front made by Austin's Rillis triplet. Max Superset is the guy to watch for on that defensive line at number 93. Chad's taking Vegas. Vegas and Salt Lake kicking off a little bit later. Salt Lake, a little bit surprising. They lost to New York. They were blanked 31-0 as Mears takes the carry to the 45. And that was surprising because Salt Lake was one of the top 5 scoring offenses in the league. They've now dipped to number 7 at 23.9 points per game. But it was very surprising to see the Hornets shut out like that against the New York Lightning, who have now surpassed them in points per game. But New York has surged up to the second best scoring defense in the league at 17.1, only behind St. Louis at an even 17. Wilson flips that one on what looked to be a little bit of a corner route, or maybe a quick out from Justin Reside out of the slot, picks up 16 yards and a Rochester first down. Xander Fowler on the tackle. So 7:20 to go in the first quarter. Phoenix and Chicago is our next kickoff in about 12 minutes. Wilson will play fake to Mears, and Wilson goes down. Sacked on the play by Lattimore. So a couple of defensive linemen for Austin getting into the backfield on Rochester's opening drive. That'll set up a second and very difficult situation for the Pioneers here in the heavy rain. 16 to go. Chicago inside, Vegas inside, so no weather there. New Orleans, it's going to be hot and sticky, a real feel of over 100 degrees in New Orleans, so the Claws have struggled with good weather so far this season. Mears breaks off a tackle in the backfield and gets 9 yards, made something out of nothing there. And then in Miami, it is pleasant but ever-growing cloudy as rain threatens that game, but I believe just after kickoff. 3rd down and 7 for Matt Wilson. He will drop the throw, and that one is an overthrow. His first incompletion will set up a 52-yard field goal for the Pioneers to try to even up the score with Austin here in the first quarter of our first game on today's Game Day Gauntlet, and that receiver was wide open. That is just a misfire. Well, it's been 2 weeks since I last talked to you all. What have you been up to out there in the world? I hope it's been better than my state. 52-yard field goal for Rochester. That's not even close, and I think that was affected by the rain. That was an ugly kick for the Pioneers, and Austin's going to take over at the 42-yard line. It just didn't get enough out of that, was the kicker, Adkins. Well, yes, Clutch. Yes, I did talk to you Thursday. I talked to a couple of y'all Thursday, but you know what I mean. Jesse got a minivan. Okay. Jesse living that 30s mom life. I like it. Stepped on a framing nail, says Fowler. Ouch. Is that a common occurrence? A freak accident? Somebody didn't do their job? What happened with that? Chad got plenty of Gatorade. All right, so Chad's ready to go. Peter's been counting down the days to his week off of work. Does that start today, Peter? Hand off to Mike Woodstone. He can't pick up the first down, so it'll set up a 3rd down and 2 now. Palmer on the tackle at midfield. 5:15 to go in the opening quarter. Shy Ronnie on a little bit of a check down, says Woodstone, you do the rest, and he did. No, they said a 4th and inches. I don't know about that spot there. He was sitting on top of a defender. He definitely got to about the 47.5 at least. But did that knee go down before he was sitting on top of the defender? That may have been the call. They actually give him a pretty good spot about the 47.5-yard line, but it's going to be just short, and Austin not taking any chances. They're just going to punt this away and trust their defense. Last week, Austin against St. Louis, what a comeback. A shocking 33-point barrage from the Austin Lone Stars offense in the second half against St. Louis. It's the most points that St. Louis had given up this season. But a 33-26 win for the Lone Stars, where Austin outscored St. Louis 20-6 in the second half. Ronnie Everidge on his first carry, the bane of the Pioneers' existence, at least at the end of last game, although it's not really his fault that he got the call on 4th and long. Robert Henson is riding that lightning win and counting down the days until convention. It's certainly coming up fast on us. SFL schedule will be released at the start of next month. Free agency on Tuesday. That'll be the next Virtual Football Network broadcast. 2nd down and 7. The handoff goes to Mears, and Mears will pick up 3. I agree, Peter. I thought Austin should have challenged that. Damon says oldest daughter and moved back home with us from Vegas along with our 2 grandkids. Happy to have them here in Texas with us. A full house for sure. Matt Wilson on a 3rd down and 5. Zips one over to the far side. That is knocked away and incomplete. Looking for Dijon Swan. And Rochester will come up empty again. They'll have to punt it away. Chad's been working his second job this weekend and checking out a certain dynasty last night. Yes, the VFN college football dynasty. I got a tough wheel spin last night for my SMU Mustangs. If you ever want to watch me crash out actually playing football video games, or just watch all I know about football, I guess, which I think is just a little bit after all these years, you can watch those games on the Virtual Football Network's Twitch channel as that punt dies at the half-yard line and rolls backwards to the 2. How about that punt from Nelson right in the nick of time, rolling backwards? You cannot punt a football better than that. Demond talking about those grandkids joining the UFL. Can't wait to see him on the field later on today.
Here we go. 30 base.
Hand off. Oh, E.K. Vincent's in the backfield for a safety. So 2 is off the bingo cards. And the rain droplets are in the way, but Vincent and Slumbaum able to get in the backfield. That play stood no chance. And now we got a baseball score going on in New York in the rain. 3-2, Austin by a point. Those 2 newbies for the Phoenix Skyhawks on the defensive end. Strong safety 7 Martin wearing number 20. And then let me see if I get this right, Damon. Xylon Gates. Did I get that right? My first time looking at it without the pronunciation guide. Xylon Gates, middle linebacker. Trying to bolster up the Phoenix Skyhawks defense. Phoenix, despite the tough go of it, is just a half a game for behind a tie for 3rd place in the Great West Conference. So now Rochester, not only did they get the safety, but they get the football back at the 36-yard line, and Casey Mears is up the middle to the 45-yard line, picking up 9, 24 yards on 5 carries. Six runs, 4 passes so far for the Pioneers, 11th play of the quarter. 2nd and 1 on a little counter play, and Mears has a first down of the 50. 29 yards on her first 6 carries. Zaylon, I got it right then, right? That's all I care about. Zaylon Gates. Just want to get it right. 1st and 10, 1:48 to go. Is it Xylon? Matt Wilson zips one. Middle of the field, coming back to the football. Wide open. And that one is... now I'm getting confused with the pronunciations of Rochester's. But Dijon Swan, that is Dejan Wright for Rochester. Coming back to the football, been their top pass catcher. And that brings up a first down for the Pioneers at the 25-yard line. Phoenix and Chicago kicking off in 3 minutes. Average in the backfield, stopped. Smashed down by Smart. His first tackle, a loss of 2. 2nd down and 12 coming up. What'd y'all have for lunch? If you can guess what I had for lunch, I'll give you 500 points right now. I'll give you till the start of the next game. Casey Mears in the backfield lost a few yards. 3rd and 15 coming up. Lattimore on the tackle. Payne Price guessed chicken. That's incorrect. Neil Rivers guessed pizza. Incorrect. Jesse guessed a Pop-Tart. That is probably the closest guess in terms of, let's see, the Fowler guessed Subway. Matt Wilson going down on a 3rd down and 15. Triplet with the sack, and that's going to push Rochester back to the end of the quarter. A Pop-Tart from the shape, I guess, is the closest answer. Grab says ham and cheese, no. Fowler says Subway, no. Henson a turkey sandwich, no. Ham sandwich, no, from Peter. Countdown is on in Illinois. Cough medicine You know, that can get addicting. Chad Rowland with a hot pocket. That's even closer as we've hit the end of the first quarter. I think I might have to give it to Chad there. He's very close. Chips, no. Grilled cheese, no. Had a club sandwich from Jersey Mike's, says Damon. Jersey Mike's is a favorite here in the States. 54-yard field goal from Rochester. Missed from 52. How about a 54 in the other direction? And he's short on that one, too. So, that Atkins is now 0 for 2. Now, Burrito's not as close. I think Chad Rowland still has it at the moment until you got about 40 seconds. Phoenix and Chicago kicking off at about 40 seconds. But Rochester has kicked 2 long field goals in the rain. No, Burrito's not closer. Jesse Long dropping a throw. Long steps up in the pocket, and it flies out of his hands. I think it fell out of his hands on the way, or out of her hands, rather, on the way down. 3 of 6 so far for Shy Ronnie, and it's second down for Austin. The rain having an effect on Rochester's kicking game, and that time on the Shy Ronnie throw. Ronnie's going to try to pass again on second down and 10, and we'll just throw it away. That takes us to the second game of the Game Day Gauntlet. It's Chicago hosting Phoenix. And we've got the double block, and we got the wrong... What is happening here? We got the wrong numbers up on the screen. That's not good. That's not what we want. We'll get that fixed. I'll come back to your lunch guesses here in a minute. Don't worry. I didn't I didn't forget about you. There we go. So Phoenix and Chicago have kicked off. The Tina's Pizza Rolls, Little Taco. That's Stromboli by Uno. No, but I do know of that. That is quite good. A wrap, says Rob Ems. I think I heard a quack there. Oh, the duck. The Shy Ronnie throw. That's hilarious. Corn from the Corn King. No. DJ Simeon takes the first carry for Phoenix. Empanada. No. Ooh, that is... I feel I'm going to give it to Rob Ems. A Jamaican spice patty. I think an empanada is closest to that answer. Closer than a Hot Pocket. Empanada gets the win. DJ Simeon, nice juke inside of the 39-yard line. And I'm sending you 500. You know what? I'm going to send 500 points both to Chad and well, if I could find Chad's username. There we go. I'm going to send 500 points to Chad and Rob for very close guesses. Joe Tillo, I don't know how he got rid of that football for Phoenix, but it's caught by DJ in the flat. Evan Wood with a catch into Austin territory. Still 3-2 over there in that ball game in New York. I think what's happening is maybe my camera, as I was wondering earlier, is it a little, I think it was a little low. The hell is a spice patty, says Rob? Oh, come on. Anybody had a Jamaican spice patty before? Spicy version? Hand off to Simeon, and he loses a couple of yards in the backfield. 3rd down and 12. Phoenix and Chicago, boy, they've had interesting arcs to their season. Chicago is 5-5, but the Eastern Conference has been so good, they're still struggling to move up the standings, but they have only lost one game by more than one score since week 1, and they beat New York, who's at the top of the East. They lost to Dakota by 1 point, who's at the top of the West. They beat Rochester last Monday night, and then Phoenix on the other side of the standings at 4-6. The Skyhawks put up 51 on Vegas last week. That snapped a 2-game losing streak where they lost both of those games by 1 score. They haven't had a multi-score loss since April 26th when they lost to New York. So both teams playing much better. Now that's Casey Mears on the carry for Rochester. And Phoenix is going to have to punt on their opening drive. And that'll give us a chance to see, for the first time out there, Seven Martin and Zaylon Gates. Afternoon, Eric Vincent of the fine folks of the UFL. I concur. That punt from Phoenix actually, I believe, went out of bounds inside the 10. This is Casey Mears on a 1st and goal at the 7 for Rochester. Now up to 10 carries for 40 yards, but cut down at the 9-yard line by Petrovich. Handoff goes to Jason Williams. Not much there.
Let's go now. 70, Indy.
2nd and goal at the 9 for Rochester. And Chicago's at the 9 as well, just their own 9, as Casey Mears is marked down at the 9. I didn't see her knee go down until about the 7, but it looked like a similar play there from Rochester. Now they're set up at 3rd and goal at the 9-yard line.
60 yards. Get that quarterback, D-line. Get that quarterback.
This is Matt Wilson into the end zone, and that one flies out of his hands in an opposite way of Shirani. That'll bring up 4th down and goal, and Rochester's going to have to kick a field goal as Wiseman completes that ball over the middle for a 1st down. Lloyd with the catch, his first for 10. Chicago will retain possession. That is a 26-yard field goal, and that kick is good. So 26 and 5 off the board. If you've ever wondered what my setup looks like off camera, above me I have the Discord server and I have the schedule for the league. Right in front of me and slightly to the right, I have the games going on and the bingo numbers and, of course, myself, and the ticker and the chat and the audio mixers and all the buttons that we need to go live. It's a 1st down catch for Chicago. Then over to my right, I have how many of you are watching in the stream health. That's 26 of you right now. I also have the rosters of every team in a tab, and then I have all of these statistics that I can quickly get after as the broadcast is going on. That's what's in front of me over here. Over here, if you ever look at me, or if you ever see me looking over here, I've got the standings up above me. I've got all the games and over here just to the right of me, so I know that Dallas and New Orleans is kicking off in about 13 minutes, and then I've got all the games that are running in real time over. Oh, that's an interception for Phoenix. That pass is picked off by Adam Watts. First turnover of the Gauntlet, I guess, from an interception or fumble variety. So Phoenix's defense comes up with a big stop. They'll get the ball at the 38. Then I've got the record books over here. So if there's ever a big gain or something that is surprising, maybe somebody's got a couple of interceptions, I can get to the record books pretty quickly. I've got the bingo cards over here so that I can mark off the numbers, and then I've got some other things over there. Apparently my app needs to restart, and we're going to totally ignore that right now because we're busy. As Phoenix, off the turnover, is getting started again in Chicago at their own 38-yard line. Meanwhile, it's Rochester's defense on the field on a 3rd down and 8, and Shirani's going to test him deep. That pass is a little underthrown, but it's caught anyway at the 17-yard line. Annie Beaverhausen with a tremendous catch, this time over on the left side. That is tremendous. I didn't think that Beaverhausen had a chance, and Beaverhausen almost let that ball hit the turf. Look at the blurry camera. That is impressive here out in the heavy rain. Impressive realism right there as DJ Simeon takes a carry. Shai Ronnie going to be sacked on the next play. This is E.K. Vincent, so Vincent now has a sack and a safety along with 3 tackles here in the first half, and a 3rd down and 11 for Phoenix as Tillo drops to throw. That pass is incomplete. 2 of 3 for 9 yards, and Phoenix goes 3 and out with a loss of 1 following the interception. That is a disappointing result for sure.
On the set.
Vincent says, been spending most of the day tweaking my stream setup and getting a certain up in my office. I don't know what he means by that. You never know with Vincent as that ball goes out of bounds at the 7-yard line. So another good punt. Phoenix has pinned Chicago inside the 10 twice now in the first quarter, and Shai Ronnie just got sacked again. It's 3rd down and 28. The Rochester defensive front is eating. And off to Jason Williams. He sidesteps a defender, picks up 9 yards. That's his best run of the day so far for Chicago in a scoreless game. We still don't have any touchdowns here on the Game Day Gauntlet, and Dallas and New Orleans is kicking off in about 10 minutes. Just 58 total yards of offense in the game in Chicago. They hand it off to Jason Williams. I think he's going to end up short. Yep, 3rd and inches coming up. Nico right way on the catch on a 3rd down and long. Austin just wanted to get back into field goal range there, I think. How many monitors? I have 4, but 2 of the monitors are 42-inch 4K curved monitors. So it's like having 6. The kick from 46 yards is up and good. So 46 and 6 off the board. A very interesting day of bingo so far today. Austin and Rochester have gotten to 6-5 on 3 field goals and a safety with 4:08 to go in the first half in the heavy rain in New York. From the 38-yard line, Damon talking about the Phoenix turnovers. So far this season, Phoenix is up to 10 interceptions now. That is tied for 4th place in the league. San Diego has the most interceptions with 13 in the league. And in terms of fumbles recovered, Phoenix has 5. That's 2nd most in the league, only to New York's 8. So Damon is right on the money about Phoenix's defense stepping up and playing well. That's a Tillo reception, the 43-yard line, a 5-yard gain from Matthias Sansbino.
Down. 15 line. 15 line.
This is Wilson over the middle. That pass is complete. Pillow fires outside, and that one is knocked away. 3rd down and 5. The 43-yard line. Eric hanging curtains. How very not bachelor of you. 3rd down and 5. Tillo, 2.5 to go in the first. He thought he had a lane to the outside, but Parker is going to bring him down for a sack. More defense, still no touchdowns. He actually just whacked that dude in the face as he walked by in celebration of the sack. I don't think that was intentional, but certainly tensions filling the room in Illinois. Wilson on a 2nd down and 7. He's going to try to take off and run, and again he is taken down. Max Superset with his first sack of the day. 3rd down and 16. That is the 5th sack in that game. So we've had 11 points and 5 sacks in the first half in Rochester. That is, a lower scoring game is to be expected in the rain. That's what we've seen so far. What has not been expected is the fact that Phoenix and Chicago can't do anything offensively with 1:56 to go in the game. Chicago is 9th in the league in points per game, and Phoenix is 4th in the league in points per game. Chicago, the 13th worst-ranked defense. Phoenix, 6th And yet, we are scoreless in Illinois with 1:56 to go in the first quarter. Dallas and New Orleans kicking off in about 6 minutes. This is Adam Wiseman throwing it deep down the middle, and there it goes. I think that might be Marion. That is an 80-yard touchdown. And quickly, the Chicago Dragons break our touchdownless streak, and Marion's into the end zone for her 4th touchdown of the season, nearing 1,000 yards, getting behind the defense. That's Seven Martin running chase, and Chicago finally has our first touchdown off the board, and over 50 comes off the board as well. Brett talking about, you can see Beaverhausen's updated numbers as Chicago finally gets the 7 off the board. Brett in the chat talking about the DC Defenders. They came up short against the Louisville Kings. UFL championship game. For those that, was that intercepted? They said it wasn't intercepted, but I'd love another look at that. The 2-minute warning is going to kill that, though, unfortunately. So 2nd down and 10 for Austin. That was dangerous to being an interception for Rochester. Ronnie checks that one down to Churchill. Surprised that Churchill could run a route that was less than 40 yards long. Holdorf wants a picture. I literally could not. I'd have to step back and off camera to take a picture. It's just, it's too wide, I guess. Domestic, yes, clutch. That's the word I was looking for. So 1:43 to go in the first. Phoenix, after holding Chicago down, remember, it was back-to-back drives for Chicago. They started inside their own 10. Phoenix punted a 3rd time. It bounced into the end zone, and then the very next play, an 80-yard touchdown to K. Marion. Now Joe Tillo's going to try to get explosive, finds Sansbino up the field to the 38-yard line, and Rochester on the punt return will get the ball up to the 21. 6-5, Austin on top of Rochester. Fletch, I'm sure you have a lot of opinions on the Canadian Football League and what's going on up there. I don't know. I feel like they're losing their identity a little bit. I like what makes the CFL unique. 2nd down and 4 as Tillo throws out on the sideline. Oh, Austin just got an interception. It will not be a pick 6, but it's picked off by Xander Fowler and returned up to the Rochester 16-yard line. That is Wilson's 11th interception of the season. That is 6th most in the league. Oh, look at DJ Simeon fly. DJ Simeon, a 55-yard touchdown. Oh, the juking from DJ, his 5th touchdown as he nears 1,000 yards to his season. A juke to the right and then a run down the sideline. Let me do my Chris Berman. Well, can't really do it on the slow-mo. Just a fingertip on the knee pads of DJ Simeon as that pass for Ronnie is caught down to the 4-yard line. 9 of 16 for 141 yards. That includes 2 deep shots. And then Mika Friday, Phoenix's extra point is good. We're tied at 7. No new numbers there. Let's go back to Rochester where it's 1st down and goal at the 4. Shy Ronnie dropping a throw. Finds a wide open receiver for the touchdown. Single-digit numbers flying off the board today. Beaverhausen with the catch. And Austin has a 12-5 advantage for the moment. Extra point pending. Beaverhausen and Churchill celebrating for Beaverhausen. That is touchdown number 10 on the season. Only Churchill has more. Mia Pangori is at 8 for Salt Lake. Rashad Lockley, Jazz Aldmere at 7 on the leaderboards. Dallas and New York, respectively. Dallas is kicking off against New Orleans in about 90 seconds. So after almost no offense the entire first quarter in Chicago, Phoenix and Chicago both with 50-plus yard touchdowns. Wiseman 4 of 6 for 105 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. 13 is now off the board after Austin's score. So 4 and 13, your newest numbers on your bingo cards. Adam Wiseman dropping a throw. That pass is complete down to the 45-yard line. First down. That's Marion again. Kay Marion 100 yards on her first 2 catches today.
Ready. 70, Indy.
53 seconds for Rochester to work with before the end of the first half. And at the end of the first quarter, a little jet sweep action for Kay Marion. They're getting her involved in all sorts of ways. Picks up 5, and that ends the quarter. Well, Dallas and New Orleans coming up next. The Claws at 3 and 7. Trying to claw their way back. Dallas is red hot. A 4-game winning streak. Only Dakota's winning streak is longer. And we're ready in New Orleans as the Claws and the Talons get ready to do battle. No idea why my winning cards thing is glitching out, but you get the idea. Try this. There we go. That's more like it. All right, we're underway in New Orleans. The Claws are going to get started with the football. They're going to hand it off to Tchoupitoulas. She's cut down. New Orleans coming off a 38-16 loss to Wichita. They have lost 4 out of their last 5. And it feels like that impressive win over Austin is a distant memory, but that was just 2 games ago. But they beat the Lone Stars 36-20, and I mean, it was incredibly impressive. Sansbino's got a first down for Phoenix. That's his 3rd catch as Tillo gets him out of the shadow of their own end zone. Ray Tchoupitoulas is cut down. That is Scotty Scruggs coming in unblocked, 3rd down and 12. DJ Simeon on the carry, 7 carries, 74 yards, and a touchdown. There goes Rochester in the top left-hand corner of the screen. That is I believe that is a pick 6. Shai Ronnie has thrown just 4 interceptions this season, and that is taken back to the house. Rochester just before the half with a stunner. An ill-advised throw from Ronnie, very unusual. That is a 35-yard return for Rochester, and they're right back in this thing. Extra point is good. That means that 12 comes off the board. 13-12 is the score. Austin over Rochester as the Pioneers get a takeaway that turns into points. Simeon on a touch pass. DR, that is. Can't make anything happen there. Miles Savage, who leads the league in yards per catch with his first up to the 49-yard line. And that play for Chicago was blown up by Brandon Parker, who's had a pretty good last few weeks. Yes, Serafim, I think the username. My Seahawks are running it forward. Talking about Seattle. Fowler on the return for Austin. 17 seconds remain in that first half. Tello goes down. That's Parker's second sack. Where is Parker? He's had a really good season. Is he on the leaderboard? He's not even in the top 25 in sacks, which is really surprising. He might be after this week. Shy Ronnie going to take off and run. Got a late block. Ronnie up to the 35-yard line, trying to get that ball ripped away by Han Tayumi. Will pick up 9, and Austin will burn their final timeout. See what they can do with the last play of the half. A 3rd down and 7 for Dallas on their opening possession just across New Orleans territory. Phoenix has to punt. That pass is complete to the near side, and the Talons have a first down at the 34-yard line. Hand off to Woodstone. That's how the half is going to end, unless Rochester wants to call a timeout. Woodstone 5 yards on 6 carries. E.K. Vincent 4 tackles, 2 TFLs, a sack. He has been all over the field, and that's going to bring us to the end of the first half in Rochester. So for the 3rd time in the first half, Chicago will be starting a drive inside their own 10-yard line. They are certainly losing the field position battle here today. Salt Lake and Vegas comes your way in 14 minutes. The handoff goes to Jaden Swift up to the 29-yard line. We have a new order. I think, Peter's order for San Diego gear has gone through. Expected by Friday, June 26th. As Miles Savage with a touchdown and a deep shot for Chicago. Chicago's down to the Phoenix 37, and Savage just scored in the corner. I believe. Ooh, wow. That, I think Savage's right toes were down. They certainly came up off the turf. It doesn't look like there's going to be a review, so Dallas is going to get the first points on the board. That was a tight one. And that was a 29-yard touchdown for Dallas. So 29 off the board. A face mask, not 20, folks, 29, my bad. A face mask on Phoenix is going to put the ball 1st and goal at the Chicago 8-yard line. So a deep bomb from Chicago followed by a face mask on the next play. And just like that, the Dragons, who started inside their own 10-yard line, are on the opposite 10-yard line. And off to Williams, and not much there. Start of the second half in New York. This is Wilson. Pass complete to Justin Reside. Good box out and a jump ball win there over Fowler. 9 of 15 now is Wilson. First down and 10 at the 45. 2nd down and goal for Chicago. The handoff goes to Williams. Williams looking for contact. Picks up 3 yards down to the 4-yard line. 3rd and goal. Rochester into Austin territory up to the 46-yard line. 4 catches, 46 yards for Evan Wood. Theodore Blackman's second tackle. 3rd down and goal at the 4. This is Adam Wiseman's pass. It is caught for a touchdown. That's a 4-yard score. And the second passing touchdown for Adam Wiseman on the day. Phoenix brought a couple of guys on pressure, and they could not get home. That touchdown pass to Denard Byam. Casey Mears has a first down for Rochester at the Austin 44-yard line as the Pioneers continue to move down the field in their first drive of the second half. On 3rd down and 1, Chapatulas able to pick up the first down. Run defense has been good for Dallas today. They're actually 10th best in the league in run defense, which is kind of a surprise. The New York Lightning are number 1. They've allowed only 4 rushing touchdowns in 11 games, which is pretty impressive. That pass is incomplete from Wilson. In the pass defense category, St. Louis is number 1. They've only allowed 9 passing touchdowns this season. Rochester has just 2 rushing touchdowns this season, which is crazy. As I say that, Mears going backwards, a loss of 3 yards back to the 47-yard line. So a 3rd down and 14 now coming up for Rochester.
Go now. 70, Indy. 56.
Check back, check back.
Let's go.
And there's a lot of room outside on this 1st and 10. Jet Monroe, not known for his carrying ability. He didn't know where to go. He had all sorts of room. 3rd down and 14. That pass a little bit overthrown from Wilson. And that drive for Rochester is going to end. Blackman dropping to throw. And Blackman fires into the corner. That one looked like it was dropped by Monroe. Blackman just 1 of 3 for 20 yards so far. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
Let it break.
56. Hey, pick it up, defense. Let's go.
Salt Lake and Vegas kicking off in about 9 minutes as Tillo's pass is caught, and then it wasn't. A vicious hit near the numbers on Andy Sands. He dropped it, and Phoenix is going to have to punt. Rochester's punt slightly shanked out of bounds at the 19-yard line. That's where the Lone Stars will take over. Peter, appreciate your printful order. If you all haven't gotten your gear yet, UFLshop.com. YOUFLshop.com. The last touchdown was from the 4, yes. We've had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 already called off the board pretty quickly here today. The ball bounces in the end zone. There goes New Orleans. That is a touchdown from 22 yards out. Cameron Bailey with the score, breaking tackles and putting New Orleans on the board for the first time today. Bailey wins the jump ball, gets out of the tackle, and then has just enough speed to get to the pylon. Maybe we'll get a pylon cam there. Shakes the tackle from unclaimed Elijah Blades, who's a very good corner. By the way, shout out to the newest player claim, Mac Anthony. Prefers to go by Army. And he is the newest member of the Salt Lake Hornets. Not playing today, but will be on the team, on the squad next week. He is taking over for Patrick Anderson. Patrick Anderson so far this season with 444 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Salt Lake Hornets. 17 touchdowns, 12 picks, 2,960 yards for Jay Carter. And Salt Lake and Vegas kicking off in about 7 minutes. Mark Lopez is in the house. Austin's got a punt. Both teams punt on their opening possession of the 3rd quarter. We're tied at 7 in New Orleans. You see the go clause on the board there. 4:15 to go in the 1st quarter. Solid start for both teams offensively. Let's go to Chicago, where it's 2nd down and 16. And the handoff goes to Williams, picking up 4. That'll set up a 3rd down and 12. 14 needs to come off the board. Very good. Very good, Payne. That is another number for you there. Wilson up to the 37-yard line. That is Evan Wood again. 5 catches for 65 yards for Evan Wood. As Wiseman's pass is complete, but he's marked inches short. That's another very close spot in the Chicago-Phoenix game, and Chicago on their own side of the 50 will end up punting on the other side of the 2-minute warning. The Skyhawks defense gets a big stop. On the Austin 37, Rochester and Austin stuck at 13-12. That ball stuck on the helmet of the receiver, and another drive in the Chicago-Phoenix game is going to start inside the 10-yard line. Emero with a beautiful punt. Rochester is the only team across the 50 right now at the Austin 37-yard line in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. This is Wilson dropping a throw, flips it into double coverage, and it's almost intercepted. Wilson now just 11 of 22. And it's 3rd down and 10. Brother Zachary is with Joshua. Zach Odom on Wichita, boosting the awareness this week. Tillo gives his offense a little bit more room. Anybody experience any tornadoes near them yesterday? We had some storms this morning, and I thought, oh my gosh, after all this time, I cannot have a power outage that it moves this gauntlet. Like we have to play this. We have to get these games in so we can continue with the season. Dallas is going to have to punt. New Orleans gets a stop. Okay, here's another 50-plus yard field goal for Rochester. I'm surprised they're even trying that. This one is not even. This one was terrible. This is the worst of the 3. That is the 3rd miss from over 50 for Rochester today, and they still trail 13-12. That is just pitiful analytics there by the Pioneers, quite frankly. As it looks like Chicago's going to get the ball back here. That is brutal. So Austin from their own 44, once again, they have the opposite problem, or the opposite advantage of Phoenix and Chicago. They've never had good field position. Although it looks like Chicago's going to get some with 1:19 to go before the end of the first half. They could get some more points up on the board. 2nd down and long. New Orleans hands it to the fullback. I don't know about all that. Kilgannon with the tackle. Yeah, you might be right, Mark. 2nd and 1 for Austin at the Rochester 46. This is Ronnie dropping a throw. There is a flag on the play. That one is complete to the near side. Let's check the penalty. An eligible receiver will move Austin back. Jabius Weaver with the penalty. And then the Chicago, I think that was Byleth Thomas, fell over. Nope, Williams with his first catch. Wiseman is 12 of 14, does have an interception, but also 2 touchdowns. Ronnie dumps that one off into the flat. 14 of 23 for a $157. 2nd down and 9 for Wiseman. I mean, he uncorks one down the sideline, and it is caught down to the Phoenix 7-yard line. New Orleans has to punt it away. That's K. Marion again. Mike Woodstone going backwards on a 3rd down and 3, and Austin makes a mess of the end of that series. K. Marion is on fire right now. Our first look into the record books today. Mike Churchill has the season high 270 receiving yards. That ball down to the 1-yard line with 33 seconds to go in the first half. Germany's playing Curacao? That's what happens when you let too many countries into the World Cup. 2nd down and goal at the 1. 22 seconds to go for Chicago. In the red zone, that run is sniffed out, and Chicago's only going to have time for one more play. Now, we've seen this before where if Chicago Does Chicago get the football to start the second half? They might try to get a touchdown on the board. Justin Reside with the catch. First down to the 34-yard line. Dallas's Cameron Duty's off to a 5-for-5 start for 73 yards. That's Rashad Lockley's first catch. That one goes for 14 yards. All right, let's see what Chicago wants to do here. Third down and goal. 5 seconds left. They're 3 yards away from the end zone. Cameron Duty is now into the red zone of the 19-yard line, although that's ruled incomplete. And Chicago is, in fact, going to go for it. Wiseman on the final play of the first half, back of the end zone, touchdown! Chicago's gamble pays off, and it's Lloyd with the score. Chicago's our first team to 20 points. Easy as you please in the back of the end zone. Lloyd puts his hand up, says, I'm over here. And the Dragons make it a 2-score advantage before the half, the 30th play of the first half. Extra point is good, and 21 is off the board. The countdown is on, and in fact, we are here. We are here. The quad box now features Vegas and Salt Lake. In the lower right-hand corner. Cameron Duty's got Dallas inside the 10-yard line now. It is third down and goal at the 7 for the Talons. Phoenix, the kickoff was to Phoenix. They're just hitting the half now in Chicago. I think Chicago is going to get the ball back to start the second half. Cameron Duty dropping a throw. He's going to be sacked. On third down and goal, New Orleans gets a half stop and a field goal coming up for Dallas, but unfortunately for the bingo players, 29 is already off the board. Kickoff in Vegas. Two teams that are feeling the heat down in the Great West Conference. 4-6 Salt Lake and 2-8 Vegas. Ronnie's pass is complete. And we got a Dallas 29-yard field goal here. That would be our first 10 off the board. Mac Chima starts with a nitro throw. Interesting thing going on in Vegas. I want to talk to you all about it. So, last season, if you remember, Mac Chima was in Cincinnati. And Cincinnati got off to that hot start. They were 8-0 to start the season. Everything was cooking. Then they lost their first games, and their first game, and they made an adjustment. They lost again. Made more adjustments and lost again. Made more adjustments and lost again. Cincinnati lost 6 games in a row. And eventually, that locker room said, you know what? Can we just go back to the book that we had at the start of the season? Because we like that book. And Cincinnati went all the way to the semifinals with that book. They essentially said, look, none of these changes that we've made was working, and we overreacted to that first loss and to that second loss and to that third loss. We just want to go back to what we looked like when we were winning a bunch of games. Vegas did something similar. Vegas, after they beat Dallas earlier this season, which since then is one of the best teams in the league, winners of 4 in a row, said, we want to go back to that game plan against Dallas. We just want to reshape we just want to keep the running game changes that we've made over the last few weeks. And so that's what we're going to see on the field for Vegas today. We'll see if it pays off. Meanwhile, Salt Lake, just kind of an aberration last week, losing 31-0 in a shutout to New York, which was just completely out of character for this team. They're trying to take care of business today against a Vegas team that has really struggled and given up over 40 points in back-to-back weeks. So that sets the stage over there in Salt Lake and Vegas. Let's get you caught up on what you may have missed if you're just staring at me while I'm rambling. 8:47 to go in the first half in New Orleans. 10-7 Talons over the Claws. We're scoreless in Vegas, although they do have another first down at the Salt Lake 36-yard line. Matt Wilson is upset on the sideline as Austin now has the football on the Rochester 41. It's first down and 10 with 1:12 to go. Did something happen there with Matt Wilson? Did I miss something? Woodstone on the carry. And then 21-7, Chicago has the football and the lead, but it's third down and 14, and Wiseman is taking a sack. So Phoenix is going to have some good field position to start their second drive of the third quarter. Third catch for Dylan Gameday, and New Orleans is moving the football. First and 10 at the 45-yard line. Our final kickoff is coming up in about 16 minutes between St. Louis and Miami. As we're nearing the end of the third quarter in Rochester, we're still stuck at 13-12. Austin, Mike Woodstone finally has some room to run for the Lone Stars. 24 yards on 9 carries. That picks up a first down to the Rochester 31-yard line. Vegas on a third down and 1 hands the football off out of the eye, and Nitro is dropped in the backfield by Dan the Bull Taylor, his second tackle. A bobbled snap for Chicago. That punt is nearly blocked. Now Vegas has a decision to make on fourth down. Phoenix will start on their own 37-yard line. Shy Ronnie on a first and 10 at the 31. Drops to throw. That pass is caught by Friday, and that'll be the end of the third quarter of play in Rochester. The rain has gotten heavier and the scoring has gotten lighter. Austin holding on to a 1-point lead in a game where Rochester has missed 3 field goals. 45-yard field goal for Vegas to get them on the board, and that is good. So 45 is your first number off the board since we hit the quad box. Austin's got a first down at the 9-yard line on Ronnie's 20th completion. That was Nico Rightway with the catch. You know, every time I look down in the lower left-hand corner of my screen, I see Chapatulis getting buried in the backfield. I mean, just no blocking up front has really hurt the Claws. Third down and 13, 42 seconds to go. This is a first and goal at the 9 for Austin. Shy Ronnie dropping a throw, dumps it off short. That'll get down to the 4-yard line. That's Churchill again. $2 super chat from Mark Lopez. You demolish that like button yet? You should. Should 10? Yes, 10 is also off the board. Jay Carter gets the offense started for Salt Lake. This is Shy Ronnie dropping a throw. That pass is incomplete. Third and 10, and Tillo tried to set up the screen. He's just 10 of 17 for 88 yards, and Phoenix again is going to stall just inside Chicago territory and have to punt. Ronnie is sacked by Simmons. Another sack for this Rochester unit up front, and that's going to force a 28-yard field goal. There goes Jaden Swift. An 80-yard touchdown for Dallas, and they go up 9. The Talons break it open in New Orleans. 6 minutes to go in the first half. Swift off to the races. A hold for Salt Lake wipes out a deep completion. So this is going to be a 28-yarder for Austin, and that kick is almost blocked, but it is good, and 16 and 28 come off the board. And with that extra point, 17 comes off the board for Dallas. So since we hit the double box, or the quad box rather, another deep shot. Wow, Sauce K got punished right on the devil head at midfield. Since we got to the quad box, 45, 16, 28, and 17 are your new numbers. 10:04 to play in Rochester. Sauce K got absolutely lit up. On the return up to the 24-yard line. That's where Rochester will get started. 16-12 is their advantage, or their deficit, I should say. With 10:01 to go in the fourth quarter, they've been shut out in the second half. 208 to 188 in total yards in favor of Austin. Wilson will start the drive with another duck. 3rd down and 7 for Chicago, up 21-7. Wiseman takes the check down, and Phoenix gets another stop. Wiseman still with just 2 incompletions today. 300 passing yards for Adam Wiseman. K. Marion, 7 catches for 204 yards today. It's worth noting that Marion is just the 3rd receiver to have over 200 yards in a game this season. The New Orleans running game is failing them. They are 8th in the league. Nope, check that. They are 7th in the league in rushing yards per game, but they have not looked the part today. 4th down and 5, punt from Chicago. It actually bounced backwards, and Phoenix isn't going to end up with as bad a field position as they thought. Vegas has the football back. They got a 1st down up to the 41-yard line, and Mac Chima has started 8 of 8 for 58 yards. That's David Glidden over the middle. Blackman's pass is deflected. Brilliant play by Kilgannon up front. It is 3rd down and 2 for Rochester with 8:20 to go in the fourth quarter. Wilson goes out of the gun. Down 16-12. New Orleans will have to punt it away. This is Wilson over the middle. That pass is caught to the 47-yard line. Deep shot, Chima. That's caught again. Ethan Flowers. Chima's 9 of 9 for 83 yards. And Flowers has 4 catches for 56 as Chicago almost got an interception. Phoenix's offense since the 55-yard DJ Simeon touchdown has gone ice cold. Tillo this time finds a receiver. That's DR Simeon. Deep shot, Wilson. No way that was caught at the 22. Are you serious? Dejon Swan for 25 yards. Got to see that again against a double team deep. Wow. Cash Cruz just late getting over there. Hand in the face of Swan. It did not matter from Wiggins. And Swan still able to get the feet in bounds.
Ready, ready. 60 outlaw.
7:25 to go in the fourth. 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line of Austin. Wilson fires inside the 5. Swan pushing forward down to the 2-yard line. 1st and goal, Pioneers. 3rd catch for Swan. Up to 261 yards. Cameron Duty's got a 1st down on the scramble. And Vegas has a 1st and goal at the 4. Chima is wheeling and dealing. Mike O'Neal with that catch. Phoenix has a 2nd and 8 with 5:18 to go in the 3rd quarter. 1st and goal at the 2-yard line for the Pioneers. 2 receivers to the far side. The handoff goes to Mears, and they still are stuck at 2 rushing touchdowns this season. 1st and goal at the 4. How will Vegas fare? Offset eye, and Nitro is clipped by his shoelace. 2nd and goal at the 4 coming up for Vegas. 3rd and 2, rollout play fake. Tillo's got a man, is short of the 1st down. And I think Chicago's going to hold. 2nd and goal at the 4 for Rochester. Down 16-12. 6:13 to go in the 4th quarter. Fake to Everidge. And Wilson going to take off and run it himself. It's a touchdown, Pioneers. Meanwhile, Vegas going backwards. Now back to the 6-yard line. Dallas is on the move with 2 minutes to go in the first half. Cameron Duty drops to throw. That is complete for the 1st down. On 4th and 1, Phoenix has to punt again, and it goes out of bounds at the 10. That's the 4th Chicago drive they've had to start from their 10-yard line or just inside. 3rd and goal for Vegas at the 6. This is Chima almost throwing a pick, and Vegas will have to kick the field goal. That is Chima's first incompletion, and 19 is now off the board as Rochester takes a 19-16 lead with 6:06 to go in the fourth over Austin. The first points of the second half for the Rochester Pioneers. This is a 23-yard field goal for Vegas. That'll make it 6-0, and Vegas has scored on both of their opening possessions. Since the quad box, we've had 45, 16, 28, 17, 19, and 23 as Duty's pass is complete. Now 9 of 10 today. Lockley with his second catch, down to 105 to go in the first half. 19-16 Rochester, 21-7 Chicago, 6-0 Vegas, and 17-7 Dallas over New Orleans. Next week, I feel like really begins the playoff push. We're going to be sort of doing a deep dive with every team, kind of summarizing the season, seeing the deficiencies, seeing, what the goals are, what we want to do down the stretch of the season. And next week's games feature Chicago at St. Louis, Dakota at New Orleans, Phoenix at Dallas, San Diego, Wichita, Vegas, Austin, and then in prime time, New York at Minnesota, Los Angeles at Salt Lake, and then Miami at Rochester is your Monday night game. Rochester is now challenging. This is a critical call with 5:57 to go. Wiseman on a play action fake is going to be sacked by Hernandez. That is his second sack today and Phoenix's fourth. Dallas trying to preserve time here. 30 seconds to go in the half. They have a 2nd and 7 on the New Orleans 9-yard line. Again, Wiseman rolls, and that's a replay. Grisseler on the carry. That's when you know you got too much going on. Rochester's going to lose a timeout. 2nd and 7 at the 9. That one nearly intercepted, and Nathan Blake does a nice job of knocking that one away. So a 3rd down stop needed now for New Orleans with 27 seconds to go in the first half. 3rd down and 7, 27 seconds left. Shirani and the Lone Stars going for it. Oh, it is overthrown and incomplete. There's a flag down in the end zone on Dallas. It's an illegal touching. That'll bring up 4th down for the Talons, and they'll have to kick a field goal from 26 yards away, which we already have off the board. We do not have 20 off the board yet. That field goal is good, and Austin now is inside the 30-yard line. Here come the Lone Stars, down 19-16 with 5:38 to go in the fourth quarter. Right way up to 4 catches for 47 yards. Salt Lake crosses midfield for the first time in the game, and they have come down to the end of the first quarter over there. St. Louis and Miami about to kick off in about 3 minutes. We have to keep it here, though, for the conclusion of Austin and Rochester, because we got a tight one going on in New York. So we'll follow along with St. Louis and Miami off air, and then we will bring you that ball game. That is a completion to the 2-yard line. That's right way again. Stepping up here in this fourth quarter. Down to 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter for Austin. Chapatulis with the catch out of the backfield. This is Shirani, 1st and goal with the 2. Touchdown, Austin. That is Mika Friday with the catch. And Austin answers Rochester's touchdown with one of their own and retakes the lead. End of the third quarter in Chicago. 1 second left in New Orleans' first half. The extra point for Austin is good. No new numbers off the board there. Phoenix, there go the Skyhawks inside the 20. Finally some offense as we start the fourth quarter. That is DR Simeon down to the 14-yard line, and the Skyhawks are in business. Jay Carter whips one over the middle. That is complete down to the Vegas 20-yard line. Blackman on a first down and 10 as New Orleans will come up with nothing at the end of the first half. Blackman 12 of 16 for 105 yards. Dallas in control over there, at least for now, 20-7 over New Orleans. That big 80-yard Jaden Swift run kind of took the air out of the building there in Louisiana. We have two teams in the red zone. Salt Lake and Phoenix. The Hornets at the 16-yard line. I'm getting killed by hiccups. Oh my goodness. Don't have Jamaican spice patties right before game day gauntlet, I guess. Let's go. We got Phoenix down to the 2-yard line. And that pass. Oh, that's a diving touchdown for DJ Simeon. Phoenix is on the board. Well, we lost. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, so we started. All right, let's go back to. So that's the kickoff in Miami. But we're going to keep it in Rochester. We got a tight one. Phoenix had a 2-yard touchdown. They now trail Chicago by just 7, 21-14. 4th and 1, Salt Lake going for it, and they got it. First and goal now down to the 7-yard line for the Hornets, who trail Vegas 6-0. St. Louis and Miami taking the field in Florida. We'll let you know if anything happens over there. That is another catch for Rochester deep down the field on the sideline. That is Dejan Wright. And that ball gets to the Austin 48-yard line as Rochester tries to make it 3 straight touchdown drives in New York as the rain may have let up here just a little bit. That one is caught on the sideline too. Dijon Swan, are you kidding me? 4 catches for 77 yards. Look at this one on the sideline. Oh, that's even more impressive than the double team. A very similar play. Malik Torrance this time in coverage, but Swan has to contort his body to grab both feet in bounds, and somehow Chicago completes that ball on the sideline. K. Marion for 22 yards. Chicago on the move again. Phoenix cannot stop her. Rochester down to the 20-yard line. 3rd down and goal on the 1 for Salt Lake. Touchdown, and 1 is off the board. That is Hopkins with the touchdown for Salt Lake. They've tied the game at 6. They battle back to potentially take the lead over Vegas with this extra point. Everidge on the carry, getting down to the 10-yard line for Rochester. 3 minutes to go. First down for Adam Wiseman. He's got all day, and it's complete again. 21 of 23 for 407 yards for Adam Wiseman, and this time it's Williams out of the backfield. Dallas has to punt on their opening possession of the 3rd quarter. Wilson on a draw to Mears, and Mears didn't know where to go. Loss of 1, 2.5 to go. Rochester maybe trying not to score too quickly. Don't want to give Austin the football back as all of a sudden the offenses have found their sea legs here in the 4th quarter. That's a good punt from Dallas down inside the 5-yard line. Miami just ripped the ball away from Junior McCray on St. Louis's opening possession. And St. Louis will go 3 and out, a loss of 3 yards, and will punt here to start the fourth quarter. 2:03 to go. Wilson off a play fake, back in the end zone. Touchdown, Pioneers from 11 yards out. Arnold with the catch. Hey, Arnold. Jet Monroe's got a first down for New Orleans, and Chicago's got another move of the sticks. That's Byam's fourth catch with 8:16 to go in the fourth. What a response from Rochester, and what an ongoing response for the Chicago Dragons. There's going to be a booth review with 2:01 to play in the fourth quarter on that scoring play. It was near the back of the end zone. I think that foot was dragging. That foot is down right there as he's dragging, as he's got the football. I think that's a touchdown for Rochester. Chicago is the only team now in the red zone. 47 rushing yards for Jason Williams. 7:45 to go in the fourth quarter. It's 2nd down and 4 at the 7-yard line. The extra point for Rochester is good. Can you believe it? 26-23. Pioneers back on top in a back-and-forth game in New York. 26-23, 21-14, 7-6. Salt Lake scoreless in Miami as Miami has a 3rd and 3 on their own 44-yard line on their opening offensive possession. And 20-7 in New Orleans. This is Wiseman over the middle, reaching for the pylon, and down at the 1-yard line is Thomas, but it's still another completion. What can Ronnie do with 2 minutes to go and all 3 timeouts? The Pioneers shut out in the third quarter, but they got 14 points in the fourth. First down for New Orleans. No, it was dropped. And that's 4th down and 9. Boy, New Orleans really needed that one. That ball tipped up in the air and almost intercepted. That was Vincent, a 1-yard score for Chicago. Makes it a 2-score game again there as Preston gets the score. So Phoenix scores a touchdown. Chicago answers it with a score. Austin scored a touchdown, and Rochester answered it with a score. 1:53 to go in the fourth. 2nd down and 10 for Ronnie. That pass was just a little bit off target. 13th incompletion of the day, and now it's 3rd down and 10 for Austin. New Orleans punts it away, and Dallas has it at their 30-yard line. This is Allure taking the handoff to the Vegas 48. Salt Lake up 7-6 with 3:56 to go in the first half. That extra point for Chicago was good. And no new numbers there. 28-14 Dragons. Oh, Ronnie slipped and fell, and then the pass was swatted away on 4th down. Ronnie twice had to regather her footing, and it threw off the timing of the entire play. I'm not really sure how Ronnie was able to see. I believe that's Brosius down the field, so now it's 4th and 10 for Austin. I think they got to go for this as Duty's pass is complete to Miles Savage up to the 37-yard line. Salt Lake tried to go deep again. It is knocked away. Rochester gets the stuff. Look at Tayumi doing push-up claps in the rain. Austin's coach is upset. Did Tayumi get away with a little grab in the back? Not sure, but Tayumi with the Mutombo swat. Get that out of here. And the Pioneers take over 24-38 for 305 for Matt Wilson. Despite 3 missed field goals for the Pioneers, they lead by 3. There goes Casey Mears down to the 21-yard line. Timeout, Austin, 1:37 left. Matt Chima with a play fake standing in his own end zone. That's caught for a first down. He's 14 of 15 for $134, but Rochester but Vegas is losing. This pass goes over to Evan Wood, and Wood ends up going out of bounds. That's not great execution there from the Pioneers. Wood's 7th catch for 76 yards, but it stops the clock, and it's 3rd down and 1. And Rochester fans who witnessed their team lose last week 30-25 to Chicago is feeling the effects all over again.
Here we go. 70, Indy. Get the mirrors back and go full strength. Let's go.
Of a potential situational collapse. Not with runs like that. Dallas kicks a 45-yard field goal. It's good. Can you believe it? 45's already off the board, and so is 23. 23-7. Dallas now leads halfway through the 3rd quarter. 2-minute warning in Vegas. They're at their own 45-yard line. Phoenix is now trying to answer back with 5:09 to go in the 4th quarter. They trailed 28-14. Simeon's got 6 grabs, and Phoenix is out of the no huddle. Handoff, Casey Mears makes a man miss, and Mears is into the end zone. Just the 3rd rushing touchdown for Rochester this season, and they take a 2-score lead. A monstrous run for the Pioneers. Tillo's got Phoenix back in the red zone, but he's going to be taken out of it. A sack, lost 11 yards. Chima completion, 16 of 17, down to the Salt Lake 29-yard line. Meanwhile, in Miami, there's 6.5 to go in the 1st quarter. Rip Cubey just got a sack. It is still scoreless there. And Rochester gets 33 taken off the board on the Mears touchdown run. Since the quad box, your numbers are 45, 16, 28, 17, 19, 23, 20, 1, 11, and 33. 3rd down and 6 at the 7 for Phoenix. That ball is knocked away and incomplete. 4th down for the Skyhawks. They got to go for it with less than 4 to go. Ethan Flowers now 5 catches for 66 yards with 1:15 on the clock for Vegas in the 1st half. Blackman is sacked on 2nd down. Scruggs with the takedown to go along with 4 tackles. Austin has 1 timeout and 1:21 to go in the 4th quarter. They need a miracle. It is 4th down for St. Louis. They're going to have to punt it away. Phoenix just got a touchdown. So hold your breath. It's not over. The Skyhawks with the score. 15 yards out. Chima's pass nearly picked off. That is a 7-yard touchdown on a 4th down and 6. And Phoenix is not out of it. St. Louis just kicked a field goal. Bradley from 45 yards out. 45 has been kicked 2 times in this game, or 3 times today. St. Louis has a 3-0 lead. Austin's going no huddle with 1:02 to go. Phoenix just made things interesting with 3:53 left. A 9-play, 76-yard drive, all in no huddle. Tillo goes 7 of 8 as Elijah Blades nearly came up with an interception. 41 seconds to go for Vegas. They have a 4th and 2 on the 11-yard line. Do they dare go for it here? They will not. It will be a 28-yard field goal for Vegas. And that kick is good. 28 was already off the board. 9 was not. So 9 is a new number. Every number in the single digits except for 8 have been called. Again, 5:27 to go in the 1st quarter. St. Louis leads Miami 3-0. We will join that game in progress at the conclusion of the Austin-Rochester game, but we're down to 45 seconds to go in the 1st half. Beaverhausen, 117 yards on 5 receptions. That was Vincent's 6th tackle. Down to 36 seconds to go. Austin is running out of time and running out of life. A very impressive game played by the Pioneers today. Beaverhausen gets away and gets down to the 1-yard line. They really needed to score there. 1 yard shy. That could have saved a potential comeback.
Hey, let's go. Get set.
Because now, going in no huddle, 1st and goal at the 1. Ronnie with a little play fake. That pass in the back of the end zone caught by Churchill. So that's going to pad the stats of Churchill up to 13 touchdowns in 11 games. And Austin does manage to get down the field. They're going to need to recover the onside kick. Rochester making things interesting down the stretch once again. Salt Lake has called a timeout with 33 seconds to go. They're on the 35. Phoenix needs a stop on a 2nd down and 1, and they did not get it. The extra point for Austin is good. 33-30. 30 is now off the board. With 10 seconds left, Austin needs to recover this onside kick. Cameron Duty's pass is caught down the field, down to the 10-yard line. Now Dallas is in the red zone, and they could really put this one away on New Orleans. The Claws were tied in this one 7-7, but have been severely quiet. A delay of game on Chicago will stop the clock. Set them back 5 yards. Phoenix has all 3 timeouts. They'll be taking them shortly, down 7. Jay Carter now 7-10 for 79 yards, gets Salt Lake out of bounds with 11 seconds to go. Rochester nearly fumbled away the onside kick, but it is recovered. And with 8 seconds left, it looks like Rochester is going to get the upset win. That would take the Pioneers to 3-8 as Rochester wins their first. No, they're actually 0-5 in conference. Isn't that crazy? But they are now 3-3 against the Western Conference, and Rochester has won 3 out of 4 games. 1 4th down blunder away from a potential 4-game winning streak. That Jay Carter pass was intercepted. Vegas with a turnover. That was Stephon Bledsoe with the interception, a one-hander at that. And Dallas is in the end zone. Jaden Swift from a couple yards out. It is all Talons in Louisiana. Tarver, who had the pick 6 earlier in the game, gets your player of the game. But I would argue it was those receivers who made their mark in the game for Rochester. 38 combined points in the 4th quarter between Rochester and Austin. The extra point is good for Dallas. No new numbers there. 30-7. Talons all over the Claws. They are going to need a come-to-Jesus moment next week with a big game coming up. I believe I said earlier, against Dakota next week? Yeah, hosting Dakota. New Orleans has played some intense games at home. All right, let's go back to Miami and St. Louis. We joined that game in progress. St. Louis just punted the football away to Miami at the 8-yard line with 3:22 to go in the first quarter. The Pirates are still scoreless. Start of the second half in Vegas, 9-7 Vegas. And then it's 28-21. Phoenix is only down 7. It's a really good start to the drive for the Skyhawks up to the 44-yard line. DR Simeon as we hit the 2-minute warning. Play fake for Rob Croney, lost the ball. It is still loose down there and recovered. But there's also a flag, so we got a lot to sort out in Miami at the top of the screen. I think that'll be declined. 3rd down and 11 back at the 7 for the Pirates. St. Louis's defense putting in work. Phoenix trying to tie the game up right now on a little wheel route to the sideline. It's intercepted. And all the way back, it's a Chicago touchdown. And it looks like the Dragons are about to be over 500 for the first time this season. And for the first time in the UFL, that's a 56-yard interception return for a score. And what a ball. Buck Wild with a hand in his face catches one from 55. And a jolt of offense there for Miami. And I agree, Peter. It is wild, the sizable lead that Dakota has on the number 1 seed in the West. Extra point coming for Chicago, but we already have over 50 and 55 off the board. But that pick 6 separates the Dragons. They now lead 35-21 with 1:49 to go in the 4th quarter. 3-0 Miami is down, taking another deep shot to Wild, but this one is incomplete. Salt Lake's got the ball to midfield. That's Patrick Anderson, who soon will be Mac Anthony of this Salt Lake Hornets squad. Up to midfield. You can see since it was 7-7 at the end of the first quarter between Dallas and New Orleans, it has been all Dallas, as Terrell Cooper was the target of another deep shot from Miami. That also falls incomplete. Now they'll have a decision to make. A 54-yard field goal potentially coming. Well, I think we've hit the a little bit of a lull here on the Gauntlet finally, which I'm always just relieved about when it happened. No, never mind. It's a blocked field goal from St. Louis, picked up and going back the other way. One man to beat, and he's going to be tackled inside the 10-yard line. Oh, Kadarius Parker with a blocked field goal, and St. Louis is still pitching a shutout. Unbelievable. The number one scoring defense in the UFL strikes again. Blackman is beyond midfield. He will fire to the sideline. That's incomplete. Johnson with a sack for Vegas, and that's going to set up a 4th and 18 for Salt Lake. They'll have to punt the football away. Well, Vegas's defense certainly has played much better today than in their last 2 weeks. Karen Koizumi now 1st and goal at the 7. Where's she going? Koizumi eventually slides down to the 4-yard line. Vegas' scoring defense after those last 2 games, surprisingly, still at 22.8 points per game. That's 8th in the UFL. Play fake rollout. A very good play fake at that for St. Louis, but the ball goes out of bounds at the 8-yard line. There's an interception for Dallas. New Orleans turns the ball over. When it rains, it pours for the New Orleans Claws. My goodness. 1:28 to go in the 4th quarter. This is Tillo going deep. Now, we don't have 8 off the board yet, folks. 3rd down and goal at the 8-yard line, but we'll have to see if St. Louis can get in the end zone at the start of the 2nd quarter. 3-0. St. Louis on top of Miami. It's also pretty hot in Miami, too. Heat index is in the 90s here in Florida right now. Salt Lake starts from their own 2-yard line, and Jack Nitro up the middle picks up 8. Koizumi from the 8, 3rd down and goal. Takes off running and gets sacked. Rip QB's 2nd, and that will bring up a 28-yard field goal coming up for St. Louis. No new numbers off the board. And a penalty marker on Vegas will bring them back. Phoenix has 2 timeouts left. That game's still hanging on, but the Skyhawks failed to do anything with their last possession. So they're hanging on by a thread now with 1:20 to go in the 4th quarter. 332 yards for Dallas, 181 for New Orleans, and just 30 yards on the ground. The Claws still lacking the explosivity. Jaden Swift, 18 carries, a $146, and a couple of touchdowns. And that field goal for St. Louis was good, so 6-0 Rivermen. And the Phoenix Skyhawks are now out of timeouts. Bingo numbers about to be up on the screen as Chicago and Phoenix comes to a close, but the Dragons have to pick up a 1st down first. 25 is not a number. We do not have 25 yet. (6-0) St. Louis, 35-21 Chicago. They will not convert the 4th down, but they are in field goal range, and 39 is a potential new number coming up if they can hit that field goal. A 2nd down and 9 for Dallas. Another deep shot down the field for Vegas. That's incomplete. And New Orleans takes it back the other way. It is a pick 6 touchdown. Whoa. Johnson with the INT for New Orleans. Deshaun Johnson, the strong safety, and the Claws are right back in this, so it can make it a 2-score game. The field goal for Chicago from 39 yards out was good. So 39 comes off the board. And then we got to get the yardage on that surprising pick six from New Orleans. That's going to be 48. So 2 huge numbers off the board. And on top of that, New Orleans goes for 2 and gets the 2. So 15 is off the board. New Orleans, as Blackman took the carry. Was that a draw? Was that a design quarterback draw for Black? St. Louis just got an interception. What? After I said I believe we have our first lull of the day, all of this started happening. I got to get another look at that 2-point play. It was an empty backfield for Blackman, and it was a design quarterback draw for 2. 30-15 is the new score in New Orleans with 9:07 to go in the fourth quarter. How about that? So 39, 48, and 15 all hit consecutively. And that, for us, that is our 33rd called number of the day. Hand off to Jaden Swift. He's got a first down as Dallas tries to respond. St. Louis has a first down. Koizumi 3 of 8 for 34 yards, but it's been St. Louis's defense and special teams that leads the way once again. Me and my mouth, exactly. No kidding. 25 seconds to go in the fourth quarter for Phoenix. They have run out of time on this one. Chicago's going to go to 6-5. That will tie Wichita for 4th in the East. There's 5 teams above 500. Touchdown for Vegas in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. Mike O'Neill. That was a little RPO. Quick RPO from Mac Chima and beat the man off the line. And O'Neill runs it in for a score. That's a 23-yard touchdown. That number off the board, but Vegas finally in the end zone for a touchdown. For Vegas this season, that is touchdown number 10 through the air. That is lowest in the league next to Los Angeles' 12. 430 passing yards for Adam Wiseman today. That is 6th most in the league in a game this season. So shout out to Adam Wiseman. Dallas has a first down. This New Orleans defense is in desperate need of a stop, and so far they are not getting it. 7 minutes to go in the fourth. That is a great run from Jeff Wells. This is now a 43-yard field goal for St. Louis, and that kick is good. Getting a run on 40s. 43, 45, 46, and 48 off the board today. 9-0 St. Louis. How many receiving yards did K. Marion end up with? And then we'll be back to the triple box and we'll put those numbers back up on screen for you. 252 yards for K. Marion on 9 grabs today. That is the 3rd most receiving yards in a game this season and the 2nd most if you're not counting the fact that Mike Churchill did it twice. Jaden Swift up the gut, first down to the 25-yard line. He's doing whatever he wants against this New Orleans run defense that is still struggling mightily, worst in the league at 153.7 yards per game. All right, back to the triple box. There are your updated bingo numbers on the screen. We have 5.5 to go in the fourth quarter in New Orleans. It's 30-15. The Claws are in desperate need of a stop. Cameron Duty play fake. He will fire. That pass is almost intercepted. Ooh, that was almost taken away by Jack Toulouse. 4:40 to go in the third in Vegas. 16-7. The Hornets have a critical 3rd and 4. 8:43 to go in the second. 9-0. St. Louis over Miami. Carter back to pass. Cameron Duty almost sacked, and now he really is sacked. Sanders with the takedown. It's now 3rd down and 18 as New Orleans may have pushed Dallas out of field goal range. Their 5th sack of the day. And Patrick Anderson had to play defense there as Bledsoe nearly came away with the interception. 2nd down and 9 for Miami. Bullet Boletsky, strong carry into St. Louis territory. 34 yards on 9 carries for the Bullet. 38 should be on the board. Oh, yeah, because of the field goal score. You are absolutely right. Good call, Hardaway. 38 now off the board. Look at Matt Chima's day. 21 of 26. 237 yards, a touchdown, and no interceptions. 10 runs, 10 passes for Miami's offense. And it looks like Dallas will get a 43-yard field goal up and good. 43 and 33 were already off the board. And unfortunately for New Orleans, their stop comes too little too late. That field goal makes it a 3-score game again. Landon Holder is here. What's up, Landon? And Grant says he's got our first bingo of the day on card number 2. Is that so? It's... Well, my back-end system is down, but we'll see it. You got to post it in the channel anyway, Grant. Landon, yeah, we changed the logos, but if you look closely, it's a lot more than that. We changed the helmets, the uniforms, the logos, the sidewalls, the place where the players stand, all the banners in the stadium. St. Louis with a pick. This time it is going to be a pick 6. He almost had a touchdown on a blocked field goal, but now a pick 6 for one Kadarius Parker. St. Louis's defense and special teams are on another level. That one knocked away by Will Todd. And the pick 6 is officially, I'm going to call that 49 yards. A 49-yard pick 6. 49 off the board. I know, Landon, this is all simulation gameplay. CPU versus CPU. The game plans are submitted in advance, and all the players you see on the field are represented by real people, like Mac Chima, the quarterback of Vegas, like Emmanuel Blackman, the quarterback of New Orleans. You see Will Todd smacking up his defenders on the sideline. He's a real person. He was the one that knocked that ball out of the defender's hands for the St. Louis Rivermen. And so we're all watching the game alongside you. We are in week 11 of the UFL's 2026 season. And happy to have you with us. So St. Louis off the pick 6. What a first half for Kadarius Parker. The Rivermen lead 16-0. It looks like they're back. Remember, they gave up 33 points rather, to the Austin Lone Stars last week. Peter needs a 31 or a 41. You can tell me the numbers in the chat because there's already been bingo, so no bonus numbers are going to be given out. So you don't have to worry about me jinxing you or not giving you what you need out there in bingo land. No, these are not. This is the YOUFL, because this league is all about you, the fan out on the outside. All these brands were designed by designer CJ Zilligan. They're all his brands, our gear. You can visit YOUFL.football for more league information, see the shop, check out the apparel, all that good stuff. We take things seriously here on the Virtual Football Network. 16-0 St. Louis over Miami. The handoff goes to Boletsky, and he's going to lose a yard. This St. Louis defense is hungry. 2:42 to go in the fourth quarter for New Orleans, 33-15. And the Claws are in no huddle. They are inside the Dallas 30-yard line. Salt Lake is stuck on that 7 points down towards the end of the third quarter in that contest. 46 yards on 14 carries now for Chris Allure.
Ready? 18 Gator.
And Rob Crone's pass is way off base, 4 of 12 for 79 yards and 2 picks. he has been off today. Rob Crone, so far this season, has 24 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. But the interception bug is really, I think he might have more interceptions than he had all of last season. Let's see. Rob Crone in 2025, as they got to punt it away again. Rob Crone had 10 picks all of last season, and he has 11 this season. That is the big surprise in Miami. As we've reached the end of the third quarter in Vegas, we also have a touchdown in Dallas, a pick six. That is 64 yards. It has been pick six city here on the Gauntlet today, and Dallas is thumping New Orleans now. A real bad throw from Emmanuel Blackman. Now Corrales with Vegas with an interception to start the fourth quarter, and they will get the ball on the Salt Lake 48. That's another guy who's been surprisingly plagued by interceptions this season, is Carter looking for Anderson, but threw it right to him. Jay Carter this season now up to 13 interceptions. That's fourth most in the league. BK Solberg has the most with 16. So Holdorf needs a 25 and a 40 for a double. Peter could use an 8 and a 25. Zach Holdorf needs a 27 and a 24 for a triple. And Vegas has a first down up to the Salt Lake 33-yard line with 11:45 to go in the fourth quarter of play. 40 is now off the board as the run on 40s continue. 40-15. I didn't see, Zach Holdorf needed a 40, so Zach only needs a 25 now for a bingo. 1:52 to go in the fourth quarter as Dallas and New Orleans play out the stretch. This game was close. This was 30-15. It was a two-score game in the fourth quarter. New Orleans just needed a stop, and they just couldn't get one. 11:20 to go in the fourth quarter. Nitro takes a carry. He's up to 63 yards on 16 carries. Miami gets a stop on fourth down and 3 and will punt it away. That will die at the 13-yard line. 3:22 to go in the first half in Florida. Nitro going to take another carry for Vegas. Up to the 26. That's Jet Monroe with the catch for New Orleans. He's been kind of quiet today. Rob Crone delivers a beauty. First down up to midfield. Finally some offense there for Miami. Doc Holliday with the catch. Chima down to the near side. That's caught 25 of 30 for 279 yards. That's Mike O'Neill's 8th grab for 112 yards today. The Vegas offense continues to click, and they are now a first and goal at the 10-yard line.
Right there, 54, right there, 54, Mike.
New Orleans is inside the 10, down to the 2. 42 seconds left. The Claws aren't done scoring. First and goal at the 10, and they bring they brought the Wildcat back. Where did that come from? I thought we killed that over there in Vegas. Glidden picks up 7 on the read option. Well, that was surprising. Second down and goal. Now back to the traditional I formation for Vegas. Trying to make this a 16-point ball game. The handoff goes to Nitro. He cannot get in. Now it's third down and goal at the 4. Oh, the Wildcats back because we reverted to Dallas, and I forgot to go back through and do the Wildcat stuff again. So my bad, Devils. There's a flag. New Orleans caught that for a touchdown, but an illegal touching is the call. Crone's now got Miami down to the 16-yard line. That's Hurd's first catch for 21 yards. Down to 20 seconds to go in New Orleans. 8:39 to go in the fourth quarter in Vegas. This is Chima back of the end zone. 4-yard score is good. Touchdown, David Glidden. Vegas gets a red zone touchdown, and after 9 touchdowns in 10 games for Mac Chima, he's got 2 in the second half. Let's go back to Miami. First down at the 16-yard line for Rob Crone. Crone drops to throw. That pass is complete down inside the 10-yard line. 8 of 16 for 158 yards. 4th down and goal for New Orleans at the 2. Vegas is going for 2. This is Chima looking for someone to get open, and they do not. That 4th and goal pass is incomplete. 22 was already off the board. 22-7 Vegas, and Dallas will take over. That pass, good ball placement there from Crone, looking for Terrell Cooper, but it's incomplete. So 22-7, Vegas was trying to make it a 2-score game, or check that, a 3-score game, but they were unable to. 3rd down and 3 at the 9-yard line for Crone to get Miami on the board. From 9 yards out, that pass is caught for a touchdown. Miami, Terrell Cooper. Rob Ems needs one number in 4 different rows to get a double. And Holdorf, you needed a 25. Well, Vegas now could get a 25 with a field goal with 8:35 left. That might be something possible there. Cooper getting the feed in for Miami. And Miami's back in this thing at 16-7. It's a wrap in between Dallas and New Orleans, 40-15 the final. 243 rushing yards for Dallas. New Orleans heading into next week against Dakota, they got to get that run game going, and they got to stop the run too. Neither one of them is working for them right now. For Terrell Cooper, that is touchdown number 7 on the season. That leads all Pirates. And around the league, that is 4th most, tied with Lockley and Aldmere. I don't think Lockley had a touchdown today. A pick 6 for Vegas at the top right-hand corner of your screen. This is Avery Cumberland. Oh, he just stepped right in front of it. Are we calling that a 25-yard pick 6? Do we dare? Let's see. No, we can't do that. We can give you 27, though. 27 is off the board. I can't give you 25. It was either 25 or it was either 26 or 27. And we have climbed into the double box here. Plenty of numbers called, 38 of them today. The pass caught into the flats. We're now down to 2 games left, and I tell you what, Vegas has opened the floodgates. This game was 16-7, and now it's 29-7 with 8:30 to go in the 4th. The Vegas Devils are having a party. Meanwhile, the Salt Lake Hornets, what is going on with Salt Lake? That's another team that's going to have a come-to-Jesus moment next week, because in the last 2 weeks, they have lost 60-7 combined. Before that, they lost to Minnesota by 3 and Dallas by 7, a 4-game losing streak since Salt Lake beat Miami and New Orleans. Jay Carter is 10 of 19 for 125 yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and Vegas has 374 yards of offense to Salt Lake's 174 yards. Unbelievable. Rob needs a 27. Well, Rob just got 27. 37, 41, 42, or 44. Mojo's got a bingo on card number 9. Again, my system to check these in real time is down for some reason. But y'all just post them in the bingo channel. We'll get those payouts and the box scores from tonight's games updated on the website this afternoon. So we will be all caught up and fresh as a daisy heading into Week 12. 5 weeks left in the UFL regular season before a crazy double elimination playoff format, which will begin following the SFL convention. Mon thinks he's got a bingo on card 26. Pass is caught at the bottom of the screen. Jay Carter taking off and running for Salt Lake. Gets that up to the 46-yard line. Wow, Rob's got a bingo on card 21. Blake says bingo's the only thing going for me. Teddy Troop. Teddy Troop, welcome into the chat. This is the UFL, which is a league all about you, real players on the field represented by real people. And we are watching it play out in real time. We've got 5 games going at once on Sunday afternoons, and then we have games on prime time Sunday and Monday evenings. This Sunday, however, just the Gauntlet is Karen Koizumi, represented by a real person, takes off and runs for St. Louis. Jay Carter lost the ball. It's picked up by Vegas, and they've got it again. Another turnover for Salt Lake. A disastrous second half for the Hornets. If you want more information about the UFL, visit YOUFL.football. And hey, join the Discord. You see it at the bottom of the ticker there. It's a lot of fun. We hope to see you there. Claim a player from the website and get on the field. It's never too late. We got 5 weeks left of the regular season. Every team makes the playoffs, and then we go into the double elimination round. Mike O'Neal having a day for Vegas' offense. 8 catches for 112 yards. You see the first half numbers. Miami has over 200 yards of offense, but they're losing this game because of a blocked field goal and a pick 6 from St. Louis. Just as simple as that. How about Will Todd? What a hit over the middle. Clutch says we were hungry this week. Absolutely. Absolutely hungry. This is Nitro on the carry down to the 8-yard line. He's over 100 yards. Vegas can do no wrong here today at home. A much-needed victory ongoing unless they have some sort of epic collapse here. Salt Lake would need a pick 6 or something. And technically, it's only a double bingo if you get a quadruple horizontal or vertical. Just saying. Hand off, Nitro shakes off a tackle and gets in for an 8-yard touchdown. 8 is off the board. Unbelievable. That was the only single-digit number we didn't have, and Vegas gets it in the final stages of what has turned into another shocking blowout against the Salt Lake Hornets, whose top weapon, Mia Pangori, has been totally absent all day long. They have shut her down. 5:47 to go in the fourth quarter, and Vegas now leads 36-7. 36 is off the board. And wow, what a gauntlet for the bingo players today. Now 40 called numbers. There are only 11 numbers that have not been called today. And there's still a whole half to go between Miami and St. Louis, which is wild. Yes, Damond, if you got, no, because it's double dipping. It's double dipping. So, no, it would be a quadruple horizontal or a quadruple vertical to get a double bingo. And the bingos are flowing now. They are flowing now. So the boot is away through the uprights. 5:47 to go in the fourth quarter, and it is turned into a rout in Vegas. And for Salt Lake, assuming they lose, they would fall to 4-7. Vegas would improve to 3-8. Phoenix fell to 4-7 earlier today. Listen, Vegas is just one game back of fourth place in a struggling Western Conference. How about Antonio Flash with his second sack? And St. Louis starts with 3 plays, minus 15 yards defensively, and a 3 and miserable out for Miami to start the third quarter. Yeah, you almost got me, Damon. You almost got me. Pass is caught from Carter, who's got 3 picks and no touchdowns today. 5:20 to go in the fourth quarter.
Hey, watch that. Check.
You might, Josh. That's pretty wild. Jay Carter dropping a throw. Carter's got all day to throw, and Vegas comes up with a sack. The Devils and Rivermen defenses right now are just dominating Miami and Salt Lake, who are both stuck at 7. No huddle for the Hornets. As Carter will drop the throw, that is complete. Well, Vegas has Austin next week. That game is interesting. Austin losing today, falling to 6-5. Vegas up to 3-8. And they do it in dominating fashion. Good screen there from Koizumi and Angel Maldonado of St. Louis. Ball is caught. I think he's short of the first down. 4th and inches coming up for Salt Lake. St. Louis hosts Chicago. That is a monster game as they try to hold on here against Miami in the second half. Still plenty of time there. And Salt Lake is waving the white flag on 4th and inches, down 29. They're just going to punt it away out of bounds. And he shanked it too. There is no coast-to-coast or gauntlet tonight. This is essentially the conclusion of Week 11, a gauntlet that we were unable to bring you last weekend. So we had our primetime games last weekend. That was San Diego over Minnesota, 41-17. New York over Wichita, 31-14. And Dakota over LA, 31-27. We finish up the gauntlet today. That concludes Week 11. And then next Sunday, we're back on schedule. Chicago, St. Louis, Dakota, New Orleans, Phoenix, Dallas, San Diego, Wichita, and Vegas, Austin in the gauntlet. Then in prime time, it's New York at Minnesota, Los Angeles at Salt Lake, and Miami at Rochester. A big moment for a lot of teams that essentially cannot continue to suffer blowout losses. Minnesota spanked by San Diego this week. They got to turn it around. Salt Lake's got to find some answers after back-to-back blowouts this week or over the last couple of weeks. You've got New Orleans coming off of back-to-back blowouts. They got to find answers against Dakota. There goes Junior McCray down the sideline inside the 6-yard line. He's up to 53 yards on 9 carries. So I would say those 3 teams, as that ball is incomplete, Salt Lake, Minnesota, and New Orleans, who all play at home next week, they are in most need of a lot of conversation in UFL locker rooms this weekend. Just struggling, and New Orleans, Minnesota, both 3-8, and Salt Lake now at 4-7, in danger of falling even further down a sloppy Great West standings. Vegas has to punt it away. 2:38 to go. Let's go to Miami. 8:13 to go in the third quarter. 16-7. St. Louis trying to punch it in. Gets down to the 4-yard line. Numbers not called so far. 18, 24, 25, 31, 32, 37, 41, 42, 44, 47, and 50. Those have not been called. This is a 4-yard touchdown for St. Louis. And if they go for 2, they could make it a 3-score game. Either way, no new numbers coming there. 2:25 to go in the fourth quarter for Salt Lake, and they're still trying to get the ball down the field. Sauce-K, 8 receptions for 84 yards. He's had a good day. But Mia Pangori completely shut down. I think only has 1, maybe 2 catches on the day. We certainly haven't said her name much at all, as that one is hauled in by Chris Allure. 3rd down and 7, and we've hit the 2-minute warning in Vegas. St. Louis will go for 2 to try to make it a 3-score game. And Koizumi out of the shotgun tries to take off and runs, avoids a sack, and gets in for the score. And 24 is off the board. Unbelievable. Still getting new numbers off the board here in a monster day if you were here to play bingo. No huddle for Salt Lake. 1:40 to go in the fourth quarter. Carter's pass is deflected. Vegas's defense turning in their most impressive game of the season, and it would appear that their offense is back on track and that the adjustments that they elected to make this week, reverting back to that Dallas offense and then making the changes to the run game, has proven to be very effective for the Devils. Rob Crone, 9 of 18 for 167 yards, a touchdown and 2 interceptions. And now both of these games firmly in hand. Miami needs some answers here. Carter deep down the field, almost caught. Off the deflection, but incomplete. Now it's 4th and 10 for Salt Lake. They might punt it away, or they might kick a 51-yard field goal. Jay, you've got 4 horizontals or 4 verticals? Grab thinks all the wins are at home. You're right, Clutch. Yeah, 3-3 now at home. 0-5 on the road for Vegas. A 51-yard field goal for Salt Lake is good. 36-10. Oh, it's picked again! Intercepted by St. Louis. He is gone. Is that Parker again? Kadarius Parker with a 35-yard pick-6 return, and it's a rout in Miami. Parker has 2 pick-6s, and he had a blocked field goal that he returned all the way down to the 9-yard line. Unclaimed, folks, on a defense that is the top scoring defense in the league. St. Louis's defense is championship material today. And with Chicago's win, Miami would fall to 6th place in the East. That is the 4th turnover for the Miami Pirates. The extra point is good. 31, can you believe it? 31 is off the board. Another number off the board. That is our 42nd called number, and I think that might be the 2nd most ever. Can anybody remember how many we had in week 1? 31-7 and 36-10. Today's game day gauntlet ends in a couple of thumpers. Peter's got a bingo. The bingos are flowing. 2nd down and 9. For Vegas, they're just running out the clock here because Salt Lake is not going to use their timeouts. It's still a 3-score game for Miami, but it's as big of a 3-score lead as you can have. 31-7 with 6:23 still left to go in the third. A lot of time. That means we're going to be yakking a lot in the final stages of this one, unless Miami can make it a game. Vegas and Salt Lake have gone final. Guys, what do you want to talk about in the last quarter and a half of the game day gauntlet? Miami leads St. Louis in total yards, 191 to 188. Isn't that something? And they continue to move forward. It's just been the big playmaking ability from St. Louis's defense and special teams that has made the game look a whole lot more lopsided than it was. How about the Devils? 20 of their 36 points scored in the 4th quarter. Yeah, Salt Lake needs help. No doubt. It is time for some changes in Salt Lake. The league's best record last season is, I know they got people that care over there, and they've purchased a bunch of boosts recently. We'll see how Salt Lake can take shape. It is not too late. It is never too late in the UFL. Well, unless you're eliminated in the double elimination playoff. But before that, it's never too late as we get the final numbers on defense for Salt Lake and Vegas. 5:18 to go in the 3rd quarter for Miami. 2nd down and 11. They got to get some points. They got to get a touchdown on this drive. I'll take the check down to Bovine, who's been quiet today. Sets up a 3rd down and 6. So there is your winning numbers right now.
Watch the backer, watch the backer.
Oh my goodness, another pick. Are you kidding me? That is Slim Diaz with the interception. The hiccups are murdering me. That pick is 51. I'm not going to give the 50. You could see right there, it was definitely 51. Nelson Cook is in the house. Is this a game? Is it on PS5 or what is it called? This is a PC version of an old Madden 20, but it's been completely recoded and reskinned to be optimized for CPU versus CPU competition. All the players are represented by real people. We love all the people that we're getting in here today, newcomers to the program. This is the Game Day Gauntlet, where we feature 10 of the 16 teams in action every week all across the league. Think NFL Red Zone. But we're down to only one game left, and unfortunately, it is a blowout. St. Louis has 3 defensive touchdowns today. Miami has 5 turnovers, and the Pirates are trailing 38-7 in what has turned into a miserable day here in Florida. It is hot and sticky. And Rob Crone, with one of his worst days as a pro, 11 for 22, 187 yards, a touchdown, and 4 interceptions. Miami in danger of falling to 5-6. St. Louis trying to get to 8-3. That would match Dallas, the 3-headed monster in the east of New York. St. Louis and Dallas all fighting at the top of the standings in the Eastern Conference. That one is caught by Doc Holliday. For more information, visit YOUFL.football. Well, Nelson Cook, they can't all be beauty pageants. They can't all be thrillers. We had a thriller earlier in the day with Austin and Rochester going back and forth. St. Louis is going to challenge.
The previous play is under review.
Looks like a catch. St. Louis trying to rub salt in the Miami wound. We do have a Discord. If you go to our website, YOUFL.football, you can join the community there. And folks, isn't it in our description?
After review of the play,
I believe it's in our description of the video. Let me know if for whatever reason that link is not working, because it definitely should be. And St. Louis is called for a timeout. 4:27 to go. Well, what do y'all want to know? I'm in a what kind of mood am I in? I'm in a mood to share, I guess. Y'all want to know something about me? Y'all want us to know something about you? I mean, it's very rare. Usually, we're already into the fourth quarter when we only have one game left, and it's a competitive game. We don't have either of those things right now, so we got a lot of airtime to fill here.
Let's go. 18 Gator.
Watch the curl, watch the curl, watch the curl.
Way to go. Clear.
Miami down 38-7. And Miami has been just a tough team to figure out this season. Last week, they beat Los Angeles 38-19, and their offense scored on their first 6 possessions. The week before that, they lost on the final play of the game, 34-31 to Wichita. Without that, they would have won. The week before that, they beat Austin 46-38. So that could have been 3 wins in a row. The week before that, they lost 31-26 to Salt Lake. The week before that, they lost to Dakota 24-17. And then the week before that, they beat Vegas. They have not, as Crone is thrown down by Antonio Flash, who now has 3 sacks on the day. Miami has not suffered a blowout loss since week 3. That's their only one of the season. Yet they're going to fall to 5-6, and it just doesn't feel like this team has been consistent enough this season. I don't understand it. Jarek Briggs, by the way, has the UFL sack record this season with 4.5. So Antonio Flash is now up to 3, and Miami's got to punt again. Eric Vincent, who's your favorite broadcaster? Oh. Do you have to be that self-serving, Eric? You know that I can't say it out loud. It's going to make everybody else upset. Woo. Is there anybody out there that does not have the bingo right now? With 2:36 to go in the third quarter. There is still time. Oh, it's intercepted. Getting up off the ground at the 27-yard line, that's Collins, an unclaimed defensive back from Miami. DeLance Collins with the interception, and a blemish on St. Louis's resume today. Payne, what do you need for a double horizontal or vertical? Oh, Skip doesn't have one either. Miami nightlife in the summer eventually catches up to everyone.
Ready, 50, plant.
Even the pros. Oh, Skip has a bingo. There you go.
Let's go.
They flip it out, does Miami to Terrell Cooper. He's going the wrong way. Payne needs a 37 or a 32. Clutch needs a 32. Neal needs a 50, 18, or 25. Mike Churchill needs a 50. Almost had it with that Slim Diaz pick 6. Just couldn't give it to you. Ernest needs 41, 37, and 44. Miami is still outgaining St. Louis in total yards, folks. That is an unbelievable stat in this game. Boletsky is shut down. That's Antonio Flash again in the backfield. He's up to 4 tackles. It is quiet here in Florida.
Push him back. Push him back.
Thrown incomplete. What's y'all's game of the week for next week on the Gauntlet? Chicago, St. Louis. 2 teams in the East over 500 squaring off. Dakota, New Orleans. That feels impossible for Dakota to lose, but you really do never know in this league. Phoenix is at Dallas. That's a tough draw for the Phoenix Skyhawks coming off a loss today. San Diego at Wichita. That's a huge game. This is a 51-yard field goal, and it doinks off the crossbar. Wow, Miami can get nothing going. San Diego, Wichita, very interesting game next week. 2 totally different styles, but 2 very explosive teams. 5-6 Wildcats, 6-5 Flyers. Vegas at Austin. Man, if I'm the Austin Lone Stars, I'm feeling pretty frustrated by how this season is turning out. Good news for Austin is they still have 4 home games left in their final 5. Handoff, Junior McCray. He's got more room to run. 71 yards on 11 carries. 202 yards now for St. Louis. That would have been a 51, Mojo.
Set. 18 Gator.
Pick me up. Here we go. Watch tight end.
So many bingos today.
Fight.
I got 90. I got 90.
And for the newcomers wondering, bingo is a way for players to earn points in which they can progress their players. Just one of the ways.
Ready?
Check.
Purchase items from the shop.
Man, I got you. I got you.
That gets you a ton of points. McRae going nowhere here. Dexter Murdoch in the backfield. And that is the end of the third quarter. St. Louis all over Miami today, 38-7. Daily check-ins as well. Uniform polls. Look at that third quarter from St. Louis. They outscored Miami 22-0 in the third. It was 16-7 at the half.
Come on. Set. 15.
It got ugly quick on Miami. It got ugly quick on Salt Lake. That ball is caught over the middle by Centro House.
You don't want no problem. You don't want no problem with me.
What state do y'all reside in? I know that Grab's in Canada. I know that Skip's in Michigan. I know that Will is in Missouri. Where else are y'all around the country? St. Louis will have to punt. That punt is going to die at the 5. What a surprise. The Rivermen can do no wrong today. Tennessee for Payne. Texas for Twiggy. You can send me a DM where you are in Texas. That's where we're from. If we're close, we gotta meet up sometime. Okay, fair enough. Mom's not in Michigan. I guess you moved. Ernest out of Pittsburgh. Oh, Boletsky's got a lot of room. For one of the first times today, just 47 yards on 20 carries. Gets it up to the 18-yard line. Neil's in Texas.
Hurry.
Coco's in New York.
Hey, Mike 51.
Now.
Hey, man. Watch the boot. Watch the boot.
Henson, are y'all in Michigan?
Holding. Offense.
Holding on Dakota Young. That's going to back Miami up. So Miami gets a great run out of Boletsky and then gets backed up on a holding call. That's just been the kind of day it's been. Rob Crone just got rid of it, and he almost threw another pick.
Ready. 60 outlaw.
I just met up with John Warren a few weeks ago.
Here I come again.
Oh, Wisconsin for Henson. That's right.
Watch twins.
John Warren is here in Texas, the analyst, one of our analysts here on the UFL broadcast. Buck Wild's got a catch for a first down. Colin Douglas went for the pick, couldn't get it. Well, for St. Louis, they've got Chicago left. Then they host Salt Lake versus Minnesota, at Los Angeles, and then at Wichita. Pretty winnable schedule there for the Rivermen. Not too many. Games are tough, but they don't face the upper echelon of the league. They've already done so with Dallas and New York and Dakota and Austin already this season. 1st and 10 for Crone. Dropping a throw. Rob's pass caught by Wild. So Miami making something out of this drive. Maybe they can get another bingo number off the screen. Miami's got to turn it around. Their remaining schedule that includes Rochester next Monday. Then they got Chicago, New Orleans, Phoenix, and then New Orleans again. So again, Miami, a team that has only lost one game by more than one score this season. They've got a pretty winnable. They only play one team above 500 at the moment left on their schedule. But St. Louis has certainly shown the warts of the Miami Pirates here today as Bovine gets a catch and run down the sideline.
Hey, let's go.
Unfortunately, I can't check cards right now. I don't know what's going on with my system. But y'all can post them in the channel, and then I can confirm from there after these games are over. We'll upload all the stats for the games. We'll get all the bingos paid out, and we will start fresh tomorrow with getting ready for Week 12. Here on the UFL or here on the Virtual Football Network, as that's going to be a face mask. We also have Free Agency Frenzy on Tuesday, and then we'll see you back here for the Game Day Gauntlet next Sunday.
We play to win. Let's
Automatic first down.
This whole now this is something I'm curious about. Robert, what
On the ball. On the
like
ball.
what is so scary about
Go.
Skip in the chat? What's going on? Like,
Go.
you just seem so terrified all the time, and I'm trying to understand. Enlighten all of us in the chat. She has it out for you, man. I don't know what it is. Under 9 to go here. No huddle for Miami. 2nd and goal. They've been terrified of St. Louis's defense all day, and Boletsky in the flat is only going to pick up 3 yards.
Hustle.
Ball's coming up quick.
Get it.
3rd down and goal. Thrown into the end zone. That's a touchdown. 16 yards away. Not 18, 16 yards away. And Miami is able to get this thing back to 3 scores. Buck Wild in the end zone. For Wild, that is touchdown number 7 on the season. 10-play, 89-yard drive. Finally, Miami puts it all together. And I feel like I've been saying this a lot today. That ties Wild with his teammate Terrell Cooper, Jazz Aldmere, and Rashad Lockley for 4th place. Robert says, I got a meeting with the boss on Thursday night. What does that even mean? I agree, Skip. He's got nothing. Can't post what? What is... If you can't post it in the channel, Rob, send me a DM and then I'll read it on the air. 8:32 to go in the 4th quarter. St. Louis gets the return. Oh, I'm the boss on Thursday. Oh, you got a meeting on the boss on Thursday. Got it. Yeah, so every week, Clutch, you know how I know that
70 Indy.
you know how I know that bingos are flowing? Because once you hit that last line where it's cut off a little bit, that's when all the bingos start hitting. We typically maybe we have 1 or 2 down there, but yeah, we had 6 down there today. I would be shocked if any of these numbers hit, but that would be wild. In the final stage of this game, 41 could hit if St. Louis gets a field goal. That's certainly possible. As McCray gets the carry, doesn't get anything. New York has the best record in the East, but St. Louis beat New York. So is one of those two teams the best team in the league, or is Dakota the best team in the league? Dakota is 10-1. However, look at the room for Koizumi here. 52 yards on 6 carries. Dakota has one double-digit win since April 12th. It's crazy that and the only team that they lost to was the team they beat in the championship last season, the Dallas Talons. Dakota has New Orleans, New York, Phoenix, Vegas, Austin left, including at Vegas and at Austin to finish out the season. That New York game is going to be spicy. That is in a couple of weeks on June 28th. Robert, I was confused. I thought the boss was your wife. So I didn't understand why that had anything to do with anything. My bad. I have a friend request pending on Discord. Huh. Interesting. Can't believe people want to be my friend these days. Karen Koizumi drops off and takes off for just the 7th time today. Under 6 to play. Third down and 6. They fake the handoff. They give it off to Junior McCray. Did he get the first down? No, he did not. So 5:20 left. I think St. Louis will punt, but you never know. Clutch says Dakota is the best right now. You know, I can't argue with that, especially the way they played in the 4th quarter this season. It's just like you never seem to be able to keep them down. Long enough to get the win anyway. Wow, St. Louis up 24 is going for it with under 5 to go in the 4th. Really trying to shut the door on the Miami Pirates. It's a toss. He did not get there. Rip QB celebrating. Okay, now wait just a second here. We've got a 3-score game. I know the odds are slim. But this is crazy because if it was, St. Louis has 3 defensive touchdowns today. And they also had a field goal block that was almost returned for another touchdown. Without those plays by the defense, this game would basically be tied right now. You can't really pin a lot of the issues today with Miami on Miami's defense. It's just the offensive execution as Terrell Cooper makes the catch and Miami's moving down the field. Rob Crone dropping a throw. And that gets out of the 38-yard line. .428 to go in the 4th quarter. Clock stops under 5 minutes to play. Crone looking for someone to get open. Tried to take off and run, lost the ball. And it is returned up to, well, now what? Now we got a face mask on St. Louis. Hold on. Wow, Miami. Robert Brady Jr. call for the face mask. Now Miami is up to the 20-yard line with 4:19 to go.
Come on, set. 18 Gator.
4:19 to play.
Get it.
Pass incomplete. If Miami scores here, this is their 61st offensive play. If Miami scores here, they would go for 2 to make it a 2-score game. Thrown, hit by Antonio Flash. That is his 6th sack, ladies and gentlemen. We have to go back to last season's record book, but that might be a new UFL record.
Come on.
51 to Mike, boy, 51. Yeah, let's get
6 sacks for Antonio Flash today. Crone's pass is knocked away, 4th down and long. And going back to the sack leaderboards of this season, the sack leader this season is Rip Cuby of Miami with 11. And Antonio Flash, he was not in the top 25, so he's going to surge up the boards. Okay, now we got a 44-yard field goal. Wee woo, 44-yard field goal, and we do get another new number off the board. But the field goal doesn't do Miami all that much good, although they don't have to kick they don't have to attempt the 2-point conversions. It's still a 3-touchdown game. The reason they kick the field goal, if you're talking about a code perspective, is because they were down by more than 16 with a certain amount of time to go, or down by 21, I think it was, with a certain amount of time to go. And now they're onside kick with 3:49 to go in the 4th quarter. Ideally, you just go for it. But I guess I can understand. I mean, you wipe away the potential need for 2-point conversions. You still got to recover a bunch of onside kicks. We're just trying to get some drama in here. But St. Louis recovers the onside kick with 3:47 to play. Yeah, Chad, that would be nice. I need a short clipper bad. I want to do daily shorts around here, and it feels impossible. Life is killing me. That's a 9-yard pickup for Teray Wright. 2nd and inches coming up for St. Louis as the clouds roll in here in Miami. It's getting close to rain. Here in Florida, you can just feel it in the air. We always do real-time weather here. And rain, yeah, in about an hour here in Miami. Hand off to McCray. Get 6 more as they continue to run the clock out. Wind gusts of 45 to 50 miles an hour and half-inch hail on the way to Miami in about an hour. So we were happy to get this game in for that. Yeah, Dakota, New York is going to be an awesome game. And we've hit the 2-minute warning. Grant, are you in Miami? Is it raining now? That's awesome.
Ready. 60 or. Check my 50. Hey, pick your game up.
Josh needs a 37. If St. Louis gets to the 20 and kicks a field goal, that would be possible. And that would also give us a 41 off the board. Lots of payouts this week. Well, Grant, I need your help in the locker room this week, my friend. I don't know how you feel about Miami's roller coaster season this season, but this is only your 2nd multi-score loss. It's not like this is a bad team, and you don't play a single team over 500 the rest of the season. But the offense has just been so inconsistent. I don't even really think you can pin this game on the defense today. It's just too many bad positions. 4th and 2. St. Louis is going for it again. And again, they try to toss it out, and they don't get it. So that dashes the hopes of the 41 club that wanted the 41 for a bingo. Not today. Ernest was just that close. So again, free agency frenzy is coming up on Tuesday night in the SFL here on the Virtual Football Network, and then we're back here for the Game Day Gauntlet and UFL Coast to Coast next week, next Sunday, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern, same time, same place. Crone's pass is incomplete.
Down. 60 Pittsburgh.
I'm here all day. Let's go, let's go.
Ready, ready.
Crone, deep shot, incomplete. Third down. 23 of 40, 325 yards. The 2 touchdowns certainly helped him save face today.
Here we go. Set. 18 Gator.
Third and long for Miami. Down 38-17. St. Louis brings the pressure, and they got to him. And guess who it is? Kadarius Parker. 5 tackles, a sack, 2 touchdowns, a blocked field goal return.
Hurry, hurry.
58 to Mike, 58.
He might have had the greatest performance of an unclaimed defensive player I've ever seen. And on 4th and 20, they're short of the sticks. I got to go back to that record. Did Antonio Flash set the record?
Choose the mic. Check tight, check tight.
Go. Deep rip.
Last season, Justin Bennett of Chicago had 6 sacks. So he tied the record, but he is the first claimed player with 6 sacks in a game in UFL history. Cue the outro. Parker, though, 5 tackles, a sack, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. It's hard to say whether it should be him or Antonio Flash, but it was definitely someone on the St. Louis Rivermen defense who helped outscore Miami 22-0 in the third and blow this game wide open. A 38-17 triumph for St. Louis to improve to 8-3. $251 yards to 325. Miami outgains St. Louis and still could not, they couldn't find it. Well, that's a wrap for the Game Day Gauntlet. Thank you all for watching. Final scores. Once again, it was Rochester coming back to beat Austin 33-30. A great game. Chicago beat Phoenix 38-21 in a game that was much closer than the score would indicate. Dallas romped New Orleans 40-15. Vegas crushed Salt Lake. Another shocker for the Hornets. They got to turn things around. Vegas just did. They're now 3-8, and St. Louis topped Miami 38-17. Our coast-to-coast and primetime games already occurring last weekend. Week 12 starts on Sunday. Thank you all for being here and for your support of the UFL and the Virtual Football Network and the SFL too. I'm UFL co-founder Cameron Irvine. For CJ Zilligan and all of us here at the UFL, thanks for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Good night, everybody.